Oh yeah, I get to jump scare you.
What are you gonna do?
Oh, it's probably not going to do any. Oh, no, it did.
But you subscribed like 2 days ago.
Yeah, and apparently I just was edging the subscriber thing.
Yeah, you're edging it.
Unintentionally edging is the either the best or the worst.
I wish Morgan was edging me.
If Morgan was edging you, you should be edging your blood loss, I think.
Yeah. Wasn't there another character being added to the game? Some girl? With like a rapier or something? Or is that a completely different game?
I'm sorry, what?
I don't know.
You're talking about of the devil, right?
No,
Or are you talking about Deadlock? Or are you talking about something else?
Paige from Deadlock.
Yeah, the nerd girl that everyone is like really thirsty for. Also the vampire girl that everyone's really thirsty for. The vampire's already in the game.
I mean, it's a vampire, of course.
She's also a total rich snob that everyone is like, I would very much like to get my hands on her and make her do things to break her of that.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of where the rich people feeding off the hard work of the common folk was like the original origins of vampire tales.
Speaking of unusual depictions of vampires, my favorites are Darkest Dungeon, where they're basically just all like mosquito-like monsters.
I was of the opinion that people were thirsty for the bat thing. Oh, you mean the gargoyle that they woobified and made more conventionally anime cute?
So that, I will be honest, I've seen the new model. Way better than actually advertised, because we just had a tiny little screenshot that blurred a lot of the details together to make it look like she had like a little like puppy snout. And yeah, she's still weird, but she like they changed her eyes at least, so she doesn't have like glowing green, like glowing like yellow like pinpricks of light for eyes. She actually has like full pupils and everything now. So
Anyway,
she has a nicer face, which makes sense with everyone else. There's no one like objectively like, oh, scary monster. It's always like, oh, these are people. These are people who are also monsters.
I don't even go here, but I think their old face is better.
Okay.
Anyway, hi folks. It's time to deal with the devil. I am joined again by Braybray,
Hello.
the
It's me.
big fucking sweetheart.
Oh, thank you.
Hey Ellie. Continue. Last we left off, we began investigating the crime scene. And the big chalk outline that Sarah very much wanted to see. I am doing alright, Ellie. I had essentially a charcuterie board for asshole for lunch before I started the stream. And I'm probably gonna get... I'm still debating what I want to get for dinner because it is cheat night, so I got, my options are endless. Had a grown-up lunchable? Well, I had a few spoonfuls of peanut butter. I had some slices of cheddar on saltine crackers and a handful of raspberries. I'm not sure if that would quantify as a Lunchable. And we got an ad starting soon, so it's a good time as any to do this. Alright, let's begin. It says here that when the medics arrived, he was on the floor, face up.
Does that tell you something?
Hmm.
Again, she just mimics what Morgan's doing, and it's perfect.
I saw that they got an Of the Devil booth at Anime New York this weekend.
Yes.
And they got life-size cardboard cutouts of both Serra and Morgan, and Sarah's doing the thinking pose.
I've seen like multiple people like take photos of themselves like gently like brushing their fingertips on Morgan's cutout.
If I was there, I would get arrested. Hey, if you were going to drink a glass of poison, would you be sitting or standing when you did it?
I find it very difficult to speculate on that hypothetical scenario.
The Senpai's body's pulled out. If he was seated when he lost consciousness, I would expect to find him slumped over on the table.
But he wasn't found slumped over.
No, he wasn't. And if he had been standing when he lost consciousness, I would think he would have fallen forward, or at least collapsed less neatly.
So what can you conclude from that, Adonai?
Only that I'm missing something. Chess and a phone. A chessboard and a datapad with a series of characters on it. E4, C5. They call you God? It's like, you said it was like Hebrew for master, right?
It is the reason that Sarah gives is specifically that it relates to the tale of the golem.
Yeah.
So, like, the creation addressed its creator as Adonai. And as an android, it's very fitting.
Yeah, I would also recommend people go read the story of the Golem of Prague. Jacob Geller did this really great video on the Golem and its place in media. Would recommend his whole channel, honestly. Anyway, E4, C5, NF3, E6, D4, CXD4, NXD4, XQC. Isn't he that guy that gets banned on Twitch a lot? This is... Well, it's a chessboard's right there, so... You'd think game, but I'm thinking cipher?
Would you like any input?
No, Noble, XQC, the streamer guy. Never heard of him? Don't worry about it. He is nobody. Yeah, Sarah, give me a hint.
So,
That's like it's some kind of like, it's some kind of programmer code, isn't it?
no, those are... So, remote chess is the thing that people do, where you basically have two chessboards set up identically, and then whoever's going first basically sends a message, usually text or email, to the other player to then give them a, like, oh, I move this piece to this piece.
Yeah, it's like...
And that's part of the notation that's used for that.
That's like, when I would do remote Yu-Gi-Oh! With friends. Back on Skype.
So yeah, it's, in this case, it would be like, you just send one move and then you wait for someone to send a move back. It's playing literally chess over email or text message.
Yeah, so it is a game.
It is a game, but could there be a deeper meaning? The question is, yeah.
Some kind of secret message, perhaps? Or...
Black has checkmate in 40 moves.
Mate in 149 moves. Aw, poo! You won again. Wow, a robot that's good at chess. We ought to put you in a museum. But I'll take your word for it.
What do you mean? Do you not play, Adonai?
People used to play chess by letter correspondence. That's the slowest, most agonizing game of chess I've ever heard.
It used to be like, you would send a letter to another person, and then you'd wait for them to send a letter back. And you would just be like, it would just be like something to do to keep in touch with friends.
That's like worse than trying to do phone sex over walkie-talkies. Alright.
Honestly?
Bend over? Bend what? Over?
Oh no. Have you ever heard of play by post for tabletop RPGs?
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah.
I'm in like 3 of those right now.
Oh, nice. But yeah, it's the same kind of base concept behind it. It's like, we can't all get together at the same time for this. Therefore...
People used to do sex videos. Yeah, I know. There's... Back in the olden times, the man would send the letter to his beloved going, send me a picture of your ankle right now, or I'll go to the war and die. Of cholera.
I mean, you could always just do the Napoleon, and it's like, I'm coming home in 3 days, don't bathe.
Damn! I didn't know he was real like that.
Yeah, he sure is something.
Damn, Napoleon, I didn't know you were cool like that. Didn't know you were a freak was a freak like that. Anyway. No, especially not against David.
Well, that is to be expected. Anyone who challenged Father to a battle of wits would naturally grow tired of losing.
Bragging for her dad. She'd be like, my dad could totally beat I bet my dad could beat up your dad. Every game starts the same. Each player has the same pieces, the same moves, the same options. It's a true test of wit, strategy, and forethought. To me, it always seemed too
boring.
Too fair. The smarter player wins every time.
And that is something you take fault with? Sarah, are you saying you're fucking stupid?
I'm gonna turn that into a meme later. Sarah hitting you with that pose, being like, clearly you don't own an air fryer.
You know she had to do it to him.
Or are you perhaps stupid?
It's
Of
the,
course.
It's the homophobic dog face.
I know what you are.
Not too fond of.
Do you have to do that? Of course. How's a gal like me supposed to win a game like that? Morgan would much rather eat the pieces when David's not looking. One chair knocked over, probably where David was sitting, and one chair pulled out, a party of two. Let's hope it's just a face. What, being gay or killing people? He never cared much for socializing, but he enjoyed hosting. Contradictory guy. Police androids monitoring the scene. Could almost mistake them for the real thing, the way they stand there trying to look important.
Huh.
Like an indoor dog taking its first trip to the park.
Pardon?
Why are you looking at it like you've never seen an android before?
Because I haven't. In person.
I know you're quoting the dog, Noble. David didn't even let you have a mirror? Brutal. Just scan its gin if you're that curious. Unless that's considered too forward or whatever. Better take a closer look. Red solo cups? So, dude's like a multi-million...
The cyberpunk future of this world is just... Everything is the same, except sometimes the fascism has cool technology.
Man's a multi-millionaire, I assume, but he has red solo cups.
This is actually very important.
Is he oddly frugal in some areas, or is this like... Or are these like shape-pressed stainless steel cups made to mimic red solo cups like a fashion statement?
No, 100% these are just red solo cups.
2 cups. One empty, knocked over, and one mostly empty. These look cheap. Did his guest bring them?
I've seen them before, in the basement liquor cabinet.
He kept these lying around? I knew he regifted those crystal glasses I got him.
Ark says there's nothing foreign in the upright one, so it can't have been poisoned. Results are inconclusive on the other cup, however.
If Serra drank it, could she analyze its contents and not die from poison?
Well, when you don't know what the poison is, and you don't know if it's going to wreak havoc on the biological parts of an android, that probably sounds like a bad idea.
Looks bone dry. Must have been nothing but fumes left by the time this was considered a crime scene. Just not enough there for them to test.
Inconclusive could mean...
Inconclusive means inconclusive. That's all. Cheer up and read me the results of the fingerprinting.
Father's prints are on both cups, as expected. But there are someone else's on the upright cup, so someone else must have been with him last night.
Slow down. All it proves is that there was someone else. Is that someone else touched the cup. Doesn't tell us when they did it. And since we don't know who the prints belong to...
Adonai, why don't we know who the prints belong to?
Are the prints flagged as unidentified, or...
No. There's space for a name, but the field is black.
Shit. Am I already that late to the action? Detective Reyes? Yeah. There's a second set of prints on the cups. Is there a form you'd like me to sign? Doesn't matter how nicely you ask. Sometimes people just can't answer. You should know that damn well, Madam Counselor. I was afraid you'd say that.
I don't understand, Adonai. What does this mean?
It means that whomever these prints belong to has very proactive representation. Those prints belong to a witness, as you've guessed. You're more than welcome to their testimony. But their identity is... The department is being very considerate of the witness's privacy out of respect for their time and appreciation for their cooperation. Fine, forget the name.
That easily?
Subpoenas are always an option, but I'm short on time. Again, my phone turned white.
Equip the white phone case, then go back to the red.
Yep.
Yeah.
I hope they fix that in the next patch. Legal order issued by the state on behalf of the prosecution or the defense that compels the addressed party to give testimony, provide information, or turn over evidence. Failure to comply with a subpoena will result in being charged with contempt of court. What did the witness have to say for themselves, Detective? To paraphrase, they came to see Dr. Asher last night. The two of them talked, and they had a drink together. Then, the doctor got sick, so they activated the emergency system from the panel in the kitchen. The EMTs came and took them both to the hospital. Asher's condition got worse. All the witnesses' vitals were normal. The witness had their vitals taken? Then there should be a record of their admission at Gatesfield. And that's it. I'm guessing you didn't take all that on... I'm guessing you didn't just take all that on faith. Penumbra is set up in most of the rooms on this floor. Everything the witness told us was corroborated by the building's own surveillance system. So yes, we can guarantee that the witness never put anything in Asher's drink. I'm guessing that I can't have the keys to the penumbra, can I? Not until the witness's lawyers are done reviewing it. Lawyers? Plural? I don't have time to trade jabs with the law offices of Johnson, Johnson, Johnson & Johnson. Trade jabs with the laws of dick, penis, cock, and wiener. Say, how about I give you their business card? The law offices of Cockler, Gustav, Prince, and Prince. That was close. Cockler. No way I'd be getting any client information out of them directly. If all you bloodsuckers want to get together and tear each other apart, text me before you start. I'd like to watch. Yeah, I bet you like to watch. What does that even mean? I don't know. Need a moment to think. So that was it? One chat, one peek at the cams, and you've already eliminated them as a suspect? Look. They were searched. They didn't have any poison, any drugs, not even a stick of gum. Even if they somehow did have poison on them, the camera footage confirms they had no opportunity to use it. They drank from the same bottle as a dead man. As far as the department is concerned, they were nearly the second victim. But they aren't dead, or even ill from the sound of things. So whatever killed David was in the cup, not the drink. Maybe. So you think he poisoned his own cup beforehand, then poured for the both of them from a safe bottle? That's what the evidence is telling us. There's nothing in the bottle or the witness's cup. Small plastic cup, a small metal whiskey left in it, found upburnt. Saliva and fingerprints match an individual. Shows match there's fingerprints, but toxicology test proves inconclusive to much of the whiskey was drunk and or evaporated. But after drinking from his cup, a cup he prepared himself, he fell ill and the witness didn't. And Asher died with a foreign substance in his body.
An unidentified foreign substance.
Suicide by poison. I get that you were close, and simple explanations aren't all that satisfying, but that's life. One last thing. You just said he prepared his cup himself. Did you see that on camera? He left the parlor to get the drinks and came back with his already poured. The witness says he got them from the basement. The witness says that, not the cameras. There's no cams in the lab or the basement.
That seems like a security hazard. Why would Noble not set things up more carefully?
It's intentional. If cams on his lab ever got hacked, outsiders could steal his IP and kick Noble's monopoly to the curb. Right. David did complain about Noble's weird protocols for combating corporate espionage.
At least we can take comfort in knowing that Father wasn't alone when he died.
Yeah, very comforting that his killer was present with him. Yeah, that's worth investigating. It's around 7:30 p.m. Witness spoke with David before he left to retrieve liquor. His basement 7:36. Upon returning, 7:38. Two of them continued speaking while they both drank. Fell lethargic. Started at 8. Lost consciousness 8:03. EMS called emergency 8:04. Taken to gas hospital 8:08. That was a lot from just one cup.
Oh yeah. Well, it's for the whole scene, I think. Oh, no, okay.
Spilled alcohol. The ARC shows how it looked last night, before it evaporated. No foreign substances in the puddle. It's clean. So does that mean wherever the spill came from must be clean as well? Rose River Whiskey, 12 years old.
You recognize it?
Sure. He was more than partial to the brand. It's a good brand, only a bit overpriced, which is the bargain of a lifetime in David's world.
It appears that the police have already tested its contents.
And we're kind enough to put the cap back on neatly.
I think they finished pouring it and then capped it. No foreign matter present, was their conclusion.
Hang on. Hair. There.
Is it possible that the police missed the poison?
No, even if they can't identify the poison, they can detect its presence by comparing samples of the whiskey to a bottle off the store shelf.
So we can eliminate the possibility that the bottle of whiskey was poisoned. Actually, I have a question for you. Do you think it'd be funnier if whenever like a highlighted piece of text shows up in Sarah's dialogue, she just changes her tone for it? Like, the bottle of whiskey was not poisoned.
That'd be pretty funny.
Okay.
Whiskey found spilled in the dining room table. After evaporating for Most of the night, there's little left to test. No foreign compounds are found, but the results are deemed inconclusive. Bottle of Rose River whiskey found in the dining room table. Forensic analysts show no foreign elements or toxins. So we can eliminate the possibility the bottle of whiskey was poisoned. Alright.
Yeah, I had already said the line.
I had to unplug my controller.
Yeah.
We'll have to find our smoking gun elsewhere. Password locked, but already cracked by the police, it seems. All the docs are taken home safe. All the docs are take-home safe. Nothing spicy. When was it last used? 7:48 p.m. Still reading work emails only a few minutes before he committed suicide? Morbid. There's a lot of messages marked priority that breadcrumb their way back to an article. Would you like to read it?
Yes, one moment. Warm android blood saves soldier's life. In a stunning and heroic episode, one of our nation's brave soldiers had their life saved by a noble android, and in a way that no other competitor's product could. A brave private, name withheld, was wounded during a military operation whose exact nature and location is currently classified. Bleeding badly and far from the nearest triage station, he was carried to safety by his fellow freedom fighter, an animate 16 enforcer, one of the few warm androids being currently tested out by the armed forces. But the android didn't just sit there and wait for evac. It opened up its own arteries and pumped life-saving UD, universal donor, synthetic plasma into the young man's veins, stabilizing him long enough for him to reach a military hospital. I have no doubt he'd be dead if there was any other android fighting alongside him, said one commanding officer, who asked not to be named. I always thought Noble was only good at making ads that look good. Now I know they've got something inside them that no one else can compete with. The story brings a well-deserved shot in the arm to Noble's stock prices and market share. With this one heroic moment, Noble's warm androids have proven themselves to be worth their price tag, and then some. And people in the capital are paying attention. It's certainly an interesting idea, Senator Mathings said, when asked about committing to a military contract for Noble to provide the armed forces with warm models. This story's got people talking. If we just ignored our constituents' feelings on this matter, we'd be neglecting our duty as politicians. And I know none of my peers would ever try to put a price on the life of one of our soldiers. While additional details about the incident have remained closely... Thank you. While additional details about the incident have remained closely guarded, the net is already ablaze with talk of, oh damn, you're not logged into this device. Why don't you pop your user details down below and enable crumbs so you can get the user experience you deserve?
Fuck off. This is that article I've seen going around. Why would Noble have it marked as a priority? Starling said they weren't in any rush to pat each other on the back over it, even though they'd won themselves a real prize. Easy PR. Military contract. They now have the excuse they need to pressure the military into a contract for warm androids. Can't dismiss the expensive upgrade as unnecessary now that it's saved a soldier's life. This time next year, there'll be pink oxidizing fluid being spilled all over the globe. Something else? I always admired this view. Buildings gleam with reflection of holograms and sunlight, and their shadows obscure all the rundown, rotting parts of town. Maybe the view's secondary. Maybe all anyone really wants is to put as much distance between them and the street level as possible.
Is it possible that a witness could have seen something through these windows?
Not through these windows, no. David installed wide spectrum auto tint in all his homes, all his cars.
I didn't know that.
Well, you wouldn't notice unless you were viewing the penthouse for more than...
Why did he care so much about his windows?
'Cause he's jerking off constantly. And he's always walking around naked.
So, I think I've mentioned this, but a lot of people headcanon David as closeted trans just because
That too.
it fits their headcanon about David. So, what if he's just, running around in lingerie and programming with the lock-in? You gotta lock on so you can lock in,
I getcha. Seems like that's everything critical on this side of the room. Which leaves the kitchen. You said there's camera footage of the dining room showing David and his guest. What about in here? Only camera in the kitchen is the one mounted on the call terminal. The console took a snap image when the witness ran in to contact emergency services. May I see it? Not unless you scrape the witness's face off the pic first. Don't tempt me. I didn't mean to click that, but I guess we're in the sink first.
Yep.
3 unwashed dishes and a single glass. Reyes, these dishes haven't been scanned for prints yet. And I just assumed you might want to do your job. Yeah, there are prints. Most match the victim. There's also... Hey! Don't sneak up on me like that! All I did was walk over to you.
You knocked over the salt, Adonai.
I was focused on the task at hand. Didn't realize tunnel vision was a selling point on your mod.
Adonai, the salt.
As I was saying, the witness's prints are on that glass. That glass in the sink? They were drinking from cups in the parlor. Did you see a glass on camera? No. So when did they touch this glass? Glass of water. There's DNA fingerprints. Unknown witness. No trace of any poison. Adonai, the salt!
You need to toss it over your shoulder.
I love they're just ignoring her. Witness must have thought about giving the guy some water, but he would have just choked on it if they had tried. What, you think this glass was a murder weapon? Randy, your sticks!
That's better energy than what I was suggesting. It's bad luck, Adonai.
Whacked him on the back of the head so fast it went between video frames? That's genius! You should go through the footage frame by frame to prove your theory. Nah. Mature.
It's bad luck.
What have you been going on about? The salt? Shouldn't a machine be above petty superstition?
It's not a superstition. It's an ancient wisdom.
Oh yeah, we didn't know. Yeah, every right-wing reactionary conservative's favorite theory, ancient wisdom. Oh, they did it back. Oh, our answer. The ancients were so smart. They did it back then. It must have worked. Which, no, if it worked, we'd still be doing it. We wouldn't have start doing something different, stupid.
I mean, there's also that, but also these are the same people who think that sometimes, giant structures were impossible to build back then, so clearly the pyramids must be built by aliens and not, you know, massive amounts of slave labor.
There's been recent records showing that there weren't slaves, but actually people on like basically the equivalent of ancient
Yeah, they basically had like ancient engineers and architects like working on it together.
what's the word I'm looking for? Work logs proving that these people like basically clocked into work. So it might not have all been slaves.
Yeah, I do think that they couldn't have accomplished it without the use, because back then they definitely had slaves for a lot of things, but like slaves were involved, I think.
Yeah, just
but, yeah,
because
they definitely had a lot of people who also were not slaves working on it.
a lot of these people claim ancient people could have made these structures, meanwhile they themselves don't have zero knowledge of architecture, engineering, or mathematics. Interesting how that works. Give me one logical reason to care then.
If too much salt spills onto your food, it'll make you gag.
Maybe it's on me for setting the bar too low there. Excuse me.
You're excused.
A salt shaker that was accidentally knocked over during the investigation. Cap was loose, and so salt spilled all over the countertop next to the sink. Spilled salt is an omen of bad luck, according to some. Consuming too much salt at once will make you gag, according to Serra.
I love that it's just been added in now.
According to Serra. David's fridge. Normally, that's a fridge? I thought it was a doorway to like a foyer. David's fridge. Normally wouldn't go poking in the pantry at a crime scene, but this was a poisoning. Some white wines chilling in the drawer, some real cheap liquor stuffed in the icebox. Old habits. Riz, you said he left the parlor and came back with that whiskey from the basement? Huh? That's what the cam show, yeah. There's plenty to drink right here. Not like the cabinet downstairs is actually cold. Must have wanted Rose River in particular. What's that look for? You hungry?
I am an android. I do not get hungry. Are you being sarcastic?
Only mostly. I thought you said you required organic nourishment.
I do ingest organic substances, but that doesn't mean that I experience hunger as you do. You need to eat to live, but you also don't know when you need to eat to live. This is known as human suffering.
Doesn't mean that I experience hunger as you do, so all fat fetish artists can fuck off. But that won't stop them from trying. So when you don't ingest organic substances for a long time, you...
I become tired.
What a great feature.
And when I'm done digesting, I
don't need to know. This is where the emergency call was made. What time did the call go out? 8:04 p.m. Before you ask, the witness left the parlor at 8:03 p.m. Not enough time for them to alter the scene. I wasn't going to ask that. When did the medics arrive? 8:08, remember? Hell of a response time for a penthouse. Private EMS came by air? Yeah, they landed on the VTOL pad you saw outside. Took them to Gatesfield. The very best, if you can afford it. Looking around here, seems like he could afford a lot. He got his insurance through his employer, just like most people. Caduceus' executive plan 4 isn't like most people, Counselor. He had executive level? Not like most people at all. Messy workspaces, but a pristine kitchen. David was a good cook, but only for others. Unless he had a guess, he'd happily eat instant ramen and protein bars for all 3 meals. Or 2. Or 1. No signs of food prep to be found. Not so much as a cheese board. So whoever this guest was, they must have shown up unannounced.
You've now had the chance to survey the crime scene.
Yeah?
So, do you think you know what happened?
Detective, is his body still at the hospital morgue? Yeah, he's at Gatesfield. Along with the half-hundred noble Megs who've all called dibs. Then I'll just have to cut in line. Sarah, get me right to Gatesfield Memorial. What? You can do that, can't you?
I can.
But
I need your payment information to get started.
Sarah needs your help calling a cab. All she needs is your credit card number, the 3 numbers on the back, and the name on your card.
Expiration date, too.
Expiration date, and the 3 numbers on the 3 to 4 numbers on the back. She also needs your mother's maiden name.
Also, photo of you topless. Don't ask why.
Also a photo of your naked feet. You don't need to ask why to know why. Yeah? Okay. Understood. On my way down. Got it.
Sync complete.
Wait, you gave your credit card to me so easily? I can't believe you just did that. 100 Tenga eggs ordered.
What would an android buy with unlimited money? Who doesn't actually need anything?
You know those like...
Just like 17 of every single spare part, just whichever number is their favorite.
700 rubber duckies.
They see one, they go on social media and they see one meme and they just order 500 individual cigarettes.
Boop. 500 cigarettes.
It feels like I've been standing my entire life and I just sat down.
Sarah, what are you doing? I was curious how it tasted, Adonai. You don't eat them, you ignite them and then inhale the smoke. That sounds unhealthy. Alright.
That sounds cringe.
Her eyes light up. Yep, that is going in my cringe compilation.
Caught in 8K.
8K, 210 frames per second. Set pickup for 10 minutes should be plenty.
The crowd down there seems to have gotten quite large. 10 minutes to reach the pickup spot may be an ambitious target, Adonai.
How bad can it be? Always Sunny title card. It's that bad. 12:21 p.m. As I approach the lobby's exit, the building's soundproofing begins to fail. The crowd has gotten bigger. There's something else happening out there. The energy's not panicked yet, but it's creeping up on the tipping point. Are this many people pissed at Noble for selling androids? The hell's gotten them all so excited?
Adonai, what does that symbol mean?
Well, you see, that's a SWAT. In this rabble, probably something vulgar. Which one?
That heart with a bullet hole.
I don't know. It's probably nothing.
Based on net associations, it appears to be a symbol for the Heartbreak Killer.
That doesn't make any goddamn sense. Why would that freak have a symbol? Or a following? Or these... whatever these people are. Why the hell would they be outside David Asher's apartment?
'Cause Noble's trying to cover up the truth. They are? Those Megs in there are scrambling to shred every document they can. We need to stick together, form a perimeter, and try and catch them when they go to dump the scraps.
Serra,
What are you hoping to find? Proof that Asher was killed for trying to blow the whistle.
blow the whistle on Heartbreak?
Noble doesn't want the world to know that the A-16 is sentient and homicidal.
You think that Heartbreak is an android?
You think whoever did all that was human? Noble's advanced prototype went amok and started killing.
Started killing random people?
Don't be a lamb, it only looks random. There's a clear pattern, as long as you're smart enough to see past the bullshit.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about that, kitten.
Oh, okay. Yay!
And how does one see past the bullshit?
Stop engaging.
Smart kid. She gets it. She's asking the right questions. I'm giving all of these different people the same voice.
Serra would totally start following Shane. Serra would totally start following Shane Vibes Truth on Instagram, wouldn't she?
Serra is just like constantly like absorbing all the information she can get on social media to try and like integrate better. And then is just like occasionally getting into problems where she's just like, oh wait, this entire forum is just dedicated to one
racism.
fucking, yeah. Or like even like more benign than that was just like, oh, all of these people pretend that the state of Mississippi doesn't exist as a joke, and I can't tell the difference.
1 second, let me do some research on that. I have concluded my research. I am now anti-Semitic.
I regret to inform you that everyone thinks it is based to be, you know what? No, I'm not going to go through with like any kind of like talk about that.
Flat Earthers.
Yes, I've concluded my research.
I am now a flat earther.
That it is based and red-pilled to question basic facts about the world around you. Adonai, why is the sky blue? It should be purple. What the hell are you talking about?
No way
No
those
way
victims
those-
weren't related.
sorry.
It's gotta be deniable ops. intelligent played for 3. Only offers 3 levels. Deniable is a fictional classification for clandestine state actions that need not be taken responsibility for because plausible deniability and military disinformation efforts create enough confusion that every party involved, even the victims, can spin the outcome to suit their own needs. No such designation exists. Deniable ops are a common recurring concept in online conspiracy theories, often used to wave away questions about why supposedly explosive events are never reported on through the media or addressed by world governments. It's also commonly claimed that deniable ops make ample use of private military contractors in order to further distance governments from the political ramifications of their military actions. Conspiracy theories are no laughing matter. If you're worried that someone you know might be being that's bad grammar.
It is.
Might be getting indoctrinated or spreading misinformation themselves, you can report them to the state at our non-confidential portal here.
Non-confidential, you say?
Her eyes look like hearts. Or they glow at least. Because they're half circles. They must have all been in DO together before getting the records bleached. Then as soon as they've outlived their usefulness...
What are you, nuts? Everyone knows that the first 6 HK got to were the 6 prototypes that came before him. Warm android so perfect no one could tell the diff. A bullet to the heart's the only way he could kill those other over-engineered freaks.
Everyone's got a goddamn opinion.
I see.
Stop seeing, start moving. These people are insane.
Why don't you eat some more corn slop, asshole? You think you can be the cyberpunk without ever thinking for yourself?
Cyber-punk. Originally a term coined in a short science fiction story and later having grown into a genre all its own, cyberpunk or cyberpunk historically has referred to a counterculture centered around the themes of underdogs resisting powerful corporate or government forces through digital guerrilla warfare. All the genre has... Whoa. Volcanian 4201, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the coven. All the genre has persisted to modern times and evolved in numerous ways. Over the last 2 decades, it has taken on new meaning as a kind of mythologized way of being for the adolescent or disaffected to aspire to. A code of conduct that emphasizes anti-authoritarianism, community organizing, corporate disengagement, and socioeconomic consciousness. The so-called singular cyberpunk has become the 21st century man without a name, a wanderer with their own rule of law. Oh my gosh, it's Johnny Silverhands. Eee! Cultural critic Simon Zensha summarized the appeal as thus: there's no such thing as a 21st century hero. Is it any wonder the most vulnerable among us turn to the past for guidance? Get ready with me, cyberpunk. The 99 Man explained. Are co-ops illegal?
Yeah, you can't live in a work environment with a bunch of your friends and not pay each other rent. That's illegal. You think it's a coincidence victim number 6 is working on Harco crops? They're putting something in the food. It's Soylent Green, man. These people, heartbreak. This is...
Personally, I think Soylent Green is people, but that's just my opinion. A goddamn embarrassment. The hell am I paying taxes for if the state can't shut this shit down?
What about you, Adonai? What do you think about this heartbreak figure?
They're just a murderer. Should be caught and sentenced like any other murderer.
But they must have some reason for doing such terrible things. Aren't you curious?
Why? Are some reasons committing murder better than others?
They might have experienced trauma or abuse. They might have...
Millions of people experience trauma and abuse every day. Millions. And yet there's only one heartbreak.
So you think they were just born that way?
I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause God makes no mistakes. That's my guess.
Very funny situational irony. That's
Unsatisfying.
sad.
I don't see why it would be.
If heartbreak was born like that, then they never had a chance to be anything else.
Trans-allegory, trans-allegory, trans-allegory. If heartbreak was born like that, then none of us normal people have to ever worry about turning out like them.
That kind of predestination, it means they never have to take responsibility for what they are.
The state can make them take responsibility. As soon as they catch them.
You make it sound so trivial. They're a very dangerous serial killer.
Just a serial killer.
Just?
Every serial killer is dangerous.
If HK shot someone
That's me.
every day... Oh, sorry.
If HK shot someone every day, it would take them 1,132 years and about 11 months. And now it's you.
In order to have killed
413,789 people.
You did that in your head?
I'm good at mental math.
You counted the leap years. But what is the significance of that number?
Deaths within 18 months of the Blake Fort industrial disaster. The what? Congestion ahead. We're currently limiting traffic related to this particular search due to a large number of edits coming in from net addresses outside your country's borders. We're proud to fight alongside variable user country in combating disinformation by foreign actors like those in variable user adversary latest. You can read more about how and why this collaboration works here. Tired of can't even fucking read it.
We have always been at war with I can't remember which country it is.
North Korea?
No, it's the
Iran?
1984. We have always been at war with Pacific nation.
Japan?
No, it.
Vietnam? Korea?
So in 1984, there's 3 nations, and the nation that the story takes place in is always at war with one and always allied with the other, and then they swap, and then they just repeatedly remove references to previous wars to the point where there is no evidence of who they're actually at war with, and in fact, none of the nations are at war with each other. They just say they go to war with each other to get propaganda stuff.
Huh. Times that number by 2 for the injuries. Tack another 183% for the birth defects. 413,000 dead, and there wasn't anything evil about it. Just human error, some shoddy welding, and time.
So you think that heartbreak is nothing by comparison? Perhaps that is the problem then. If they're nothing, if they represent nothing, then they can stand for whatever the crowd wants them to. Please, make way. Officials are coming through. Please disperse.
Keep walking, pigs. Fascists!
Noble owns the cops!
Yeah.
Only the cops they build in their factories.
Very funny. Why are we tolerating this shit?
You want me to wade into the crowd with a nightstick? Prove them wrong?
You know what I mean. We're the only people in the city trying to do some goddamn good, and they all just... That's just part of our job, detective. No offense, man, but wearing a police badge earns you a little more hate than... Do they give prosecutors badges? Well, according to Capcom, yeah. I have an ID for the parking garage. Does that count?
Depends. You ever hesitate to wear it in the open? This mortal relativism of yours seems like a strange philosophy for someone in your profession, Adonai. I do love Morgan's pose there.
Yeah, I love her face. She's like, kind of like the Joker, baby.
I'm the Joker, baby.
You wanna know how I got these scars? Well, I'm the Joker, baby. Breaking out the thesaurus on me? I'm only being realistic and humble. I'm just one woman, Serra. Whatever I do, right or wrong, it's less than a % rounding error in the grand scheme of things.
Do you tell that to your clients?
No, but they come to appreciate it when I win. I don't mean cops in particular. The same deal applies to anyone who works for the state. The terms are stark, but the ink dried a long time ago, and we all agreed to them.
I don't recall voting for it.
Well, not voting is how these things come to pass, so... We traded freedom for safety, individual rights for collective power. The state won, the citizens lost. Very least we can do is take their criticisms head on. Look, I don't have a problem with the responsibilities of authority.
Only with authority being challenged?
But they treat us like we're the bad guys. You kinda are. Well, sometimes we are, sometimes the law is wrong.
So if any given individual is too small to ever affect change...
So if the public's gonna hate us no matter what we do...
And if corporations and governments will trample over people the same, regardless of their character...
And if we can't even be sure we're doing the right thing...
What do you do, Adonai?
What the hell do we do? I think it's pretty simple. It's not as complicated as you think.
Are you ready for peak?
In times like these, in a world like this, the only logical way to live is... The only moral way to act is... Do whatever it takes to win. Yeah. Can they look at that, like, look at me like that forever?
Depends. Do you want to be restrained to a chair, or do you want to be laying on the floor unable to stand because of injury?
Yeah.
Because I think one of them will do that and one of them will do the other, and it's up to you to decide which one.
Do both. If I'm insignificant in the grand scheme of things, I can do my worst and no one will notice. If power is inherently evil and holding back won't save... Power is inherently evil. Holding back won't save your soul. Oh, she's purple now.
Why is she Orpal?
Just fight with both barrels. And trust the opposition to do the same. Winner takes all.
Okay, now that that's done, let's go look at a dead body.
Hey, you guys want to see a dead body? Gatesfield Memorial Hospital. Ugh, thank you. You're a lifesaver. And the next time that Bridezilla texts you, just turn your phone off. Chatty guy must have been due to go on break. He tried and failed to find the witness's medical record. His datapad had the name blacked out. But I did see they had Caduceus Executive 3. More expensive than David's, which means they most likely...
How did you do that?
You need to hold the button to get the doors to close faster. Mashing does nothing.
That is not what I meant. There were many others who arrived before us. How did you get us down here so quickly?
She got in line, like she said. Well, I didn't do anything. It was that nurse who escorted us.
Yes, but you managed to get a stranger like him to help you with so few words, so little information. I don't think you even gave him your name.
I mean, look, if Morgan walked up to me, I'd do anything she asked without hesitating. I'd do anything for her and let her do anything to me. Haven't you heard of the Golden Rule?
Of course I have. Treat others how you would want to be treated.
Wrong. Treat others how they would want to be treated. He wanted someone that he could vent to. He wanted someone to pay attention to him, and he wanted to feel appreciated. Which meant he'd be eager to help, given the chance.
Even just reading someone's mood is quite difficult. How can you know how another person wants to be treated?
There are no mind readers. No one can ever know anything about what anyone's thinking. Maybe not even themselves. Doesn't matter if they're your parents, your twin, your lover. It'll always be a gamble.
That is not a very comforting sentiment.
Well, I think it's fun.
Only because you're good at it. How did you get good at it?
Same as anything. Observation and practice.
You must have been observing and practicing for a very long time then. So, we proceed down the hall, bear left, look for the fourth door.
I'm gonna open the one that says Morg on it. Oh, hey! Come on in. Don't sit out there in the... Cold wouldn't be accurate. Sorry about the chilling here, but I run a little hot. And you can see my roommates never complain.
So
Why is her right arm so long?
So her left arm isn't actually robotic. She just wears a brace on it that looks really fucking cool.
Yeah, I can see her meat fingers under it.
Also,
I want to wear something like this. Why is her right arm so long?
I don't know. I think it's just a thing. But what I do want to double check with you. There is something about this character.
Say again,
I'm
you
sorry
cut
about
off.
that. Discord just decided to stop and then restart.
Uh-oh.
That was weird. Okay.
There's something about this character.
Something about this character you find out in the interviews after the game. Do you want me to tell you that now? It'll probably increase your enjoyment of this character.
Yeah.
Canonically transgender.
I had a feeling. She has a look.
Yes. Yeah. One of the interviews after the game, Serra goes to speak with her and asks her about a transgender sticker on her computer, and she says, yes, I am transgender. Also, being trans is so much easier nowadays with technology, but it still sucks in a way.
Yeah, people
Because,
always hate you for existing. No matter.
It is easier to exist, but it doesn't make other people accept you. Is basically how she says it. Anyways,
existing is easier, but it doesn't mean existing is easy. If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, Sato, just like my Gundam character. Yumi Sato, medical examiner. Dr. Sato, just the lady I wanted to see. Oh, I didn't expect that I'd get to. The fact that they've assigned a medical examiner and not some adder junior means. Oh, you can just call me Yumi, and you're... Morgan. I represent the deceased. The deceased? Oh, the deceased! Asher D. Wait, really? That's, weird. I thought this time slot was scheduled for a group of noble PR people who... I know, weird, right? Well, what the hell do I know? I'm getting tired of hosting Megs anyway. I gotta finish typing up this report before we talk shop. But in the meantime, feel free to make yourself at home. Just fucking garbage everywhere. What's this? The hospital's getting renamed? No, guess it's some other hospital that got snapped up.
Hospital renamed to thank Ikaria family. In a ribbon-cutting ceremony held uptown today, Plotter Memorial... Oh, sorry. There we go. Okay. Plotter Memorial Hospital was formally renamed the Northeastern Ikaria Medical Complex in recognition of the family's incredibly generous donations over the last several years. It's the latest in a string of philanthropic efforts by the family to result in a name change, after they paid for the renovations to the orchestra hall and the retrofitting of what used to be known as the Scout Arena. But it wasn't so long ago that the Ikaria were better known for drawing blood than donating it. Back before the 50s, they had a fearsome reputation for cutthroat business practices that had their business rivals going so far as to accuse them of involvement with organized crime. After the founding of Renigen Medical over 25 years ago and its subsequent sale, the Ikaria have moved out of the business world and into the upper echelons of society that are sometimes mockingly referred to as the Neo-Bility, a generation of newly minted aristocrats born from the unique and chaotic economics of the mid-21st century and the Red Decade.
I want to hear about that.
When asked her opinion on those who label her family House Ikaria at the hospital's renaming ceremony, Renigen board member Mireille Ikaria had this to say. In this country, anyone can make a name for themselves, so long as they're willing to put in the work. Mock new money all you want, but the truth is that success is all about reinventing yourself. And the only ones uncomfortable with that are, we're working hard to print out the rest of your article, character by character. It's tough work, but we'd be able to go about it a lot faster if you'd leave a tip. Want to drop your payment info in the jar?
You're not like us. You're new money. We're old money. Yeah, how? We're old money. Old as balls. It's an ancient-ass Hark a Vagrant reference for anyone out there. The same age as me.
Old as balls.
Is it Ikaria or Ikaria?
It could be either. I think Ikaria because it sounds... It makes me think Japanese. And then when I think of Japanese, I know it's very much like, oh, a lot of Japanese words and names are segmented into different syllables.
Mm-hmm. The Ikaria. Because they weren't always in the same line of work. Now they're plastering a name wherever they get themselves a new image.
I don't think they have a monopoly on healthcare, so...
All the nobility are eager to prop up their image wherever they can. That must go double for the Ikarias. Assuming the truth about their criminal past is anywhere close to the rumors. That's a lot of screens. It's gotta be diminishing returns on productivity.
Why do you have so many monitors, ma'am?
You can't just ask someone they have so many monitors, Serra. Good question. Every quarter when they do inventory and budgeting, they ask me if I need anything, and I never do, so I submit a blank form. But I guess a while back there was a +1 in a spreadsheet somewhere and no one's ever corrected it, and so, boom, I get 4 new monitors every year.
Do you run out of things to use them for?
Sometimes. This year I've started running 2 dramas at once when I'm doing rote work, which helps. Watching 2 television shows at the same time helps you do rote work? Helps me use up the screens.
I see. She got bored of just putting up, like, all kinds of different types of porn that she enjoys, and she's like, maybe I should just put on porn I don't enjoy, and then that got boring, so now she's just watching as many drama shows as possible.
Got tired of watching meat spin on them, so she had to put on a C drama. A C drama on one screen, a K drama on the other.
Yeah, so you can not know what's going on in 2 different languages.
We can't judge what... We shouldn't judge if she's bilingual or not.
Yes. I'm just thinking like me, like, oh yes, 2 things I don't understand. This will surely help me do ADHD brain things.
It's like that one meme. ASMR of reading the Bible in left ear and Communist Manifesto in the right ear. Or whatever, however the meme goes.
Something like that. I think I've seen one where it's like 6 different audio streams at once, and it's just incredible. Also, I will be right back.
Okay. Are these all dead bodies? One would hope so. I only meant that I'm surprised to see them stored here. It suggests a backlog, which suggests a higher murder rate than the public data would lead one to expect. Do you only examine bodies for the police, Doctor? Oh, I wish. Nah, most of my job involves confirming COD on natural deaths for insurance adjustments. Insurers want to blame the mod for failing. Mod makers want to blame the stiff for not exercising enough. Family says the company insurance plan would pay for mods, but not a gym membership. Yeah, the whole while there is suspected defective liver mods, suspected leaking internal bio batteries, suspected CCIC, climate change induced complications. You can prove that climate change contributed to an otherwise natural death? Very, very rarely. If it can be proved, what does that mean for the family of the deceased? Plus or minus 14% life insurance payout. Huh. I mean, it's most of what I do, and I don't dislike my job. It's just... so much of it I do just boils down to telling a bunch of cheapskates how to split the dead man's bill. It's enough to make a homicide feel like a breath of fresh air. Is she finishing up over there? Right, okay, so what's up? Thanks for your time, Dr. Sato. My first question would be... what was the cause of death? Oh, wow. Hi there. Cute android. I didn't realize it was... really cute. The skin is... that's remarkable. Even just looking close, you can tell they really are warm. Still, not quite human body temperature. They've come a long way. The early gens all look flushed. Felt like they were always running a fever, and they ran like it too. Even 2 years ago, Hey, welcome back.
Thank you.
Sato was calling Serra cute, and now she's all blushy. Wow, she's so cute and lifelike. Aw, teehee. Yeah. Even 2 years ago, the average warm android only lasted... sorry, but the circumstances surrounding this particular case call for expediency. Right. So what can I tell you? Were you able to determine the cause of death? Well, cause of death, sure. We got that much figured out at least. Why doesn't that sound particularly reassuring? We got new stuff. That slang for nouveau rich, new money. March 3rd, hell yeah, Pisces. 170 centimeters, O negative, medical examiner, likes accessories, reality TV, and palm reading, dislikes social media, dress codes, ebooks, loves to make new playlists, hates to throw out old clothes. Most proud of my weekly meal prep. Dr. Asher died of respiratory failure. Not enough oxygen in the blood, not enough blood going to the brain. Root cause being widespread depression of the central nervous system. What would the symptoms be? What would have looked like? Lightheadedness, followed by dizziness, then headaches, slurred speech, exhaustion, loss of consciousness, and finally, respiratory arrest. Reports show that the EMTs tried intubation, then resuscitation, through electrical stimulation repeatedly. By the time he got to the emergency room, they were desperate enough to attempt direct artificial blood oxygenation, but it was too late.
And you're certain of all this?
Oh, well, most of it, sweetie. Most of it? Yeah, it's turned into quite the puzzle. I'm used to having more pieces to start with. Not surprised a man as rich and famous as him didn't have any kind of biomes. But his files show... oh, biomonitor. Wearable technology or implant? Why am I yawning so much? Implanted mods that monitor or provide feedback on individuals' vital signs. I got a full hour of... I got like a full 7.5 hours of sleep last night. Provide feedback on vital signs commonplace among the affluent as an additional layer of security. Some suggests concurrent analysis point to anxieties about climate pollution and the stresses of modern life as to why adoption of biomonitors has met resistance with medium wage earners. I got it. He wasn't a viable candidate for modding. Yeah, that's right. Without that kind of first-hand tech, we don't have nearly as much data as we'd like. It is extensively monitored from the moment the EMTs arrives. We're very certain about our conclusion. Did you find anything else unusual about his body in your examination? Cuts or bruises? No injection sites, nothing in any cavities. Nothing at all, huh? Now the million-dollar question, the tox screen. The police mentioned a tox screen. Yeah, that's the thing. They ran a tox screen when he first arrived. Typical diagnostic intake procedure. Based on the emergency call, they figured he must have overdosed on something, but the tox screen gave him nothing. After he died, we performed the broadest screenings possible. Nothing. So were you forced to conclude this was a natural death? I didn't give up that easy. I took blood samples and compared their makeup with what was on record in his previous medical history. And I managed to isolate a single, non-naturally occurring chemical compound that wasn't there before. What was it? Some exotic toxin from a different hemisphere? I wish. I ran it through every available database we have access to. And even if you only sort of have access to through some friends. Not only does it not match any known poison, it doesn't match the chemical makeup of any registered compound. So designer drug, huh? That seems to be the best explanation. What the hell did you do, David?
You said it didn't match any registered compound.
What about the unregistered list?
What about compounds that aren't registered?
Those friends of yours, private sector folks? Yeah, and pharmaceuticals. Hitting her with the double think. I've only had a vine boom on hand.
We saw you across the bar and we really dig your vibe.
Wanna be our third? Come on, pose with us.
I mean, if she did that, she might cut her lip.
It's not near her lips. One of them patented a new compound, a new drug. What would keep its formula from going on the record? In the private sector, intellectual piracy is the norm, so you're expected to protect your research aggressively. Patent first, find a use later? Yeah, patent would have to at least describe your compound in brief, but depending on what country you file in, I heard it may be considered prudent to keep the actual chemical makeup off the record. Smart, using international IP law as your own personal minefield.
How so?
Whenever you're ahead, patent as much as you can, as fast as you can, but bury the formula so no one knows where it's safe to walk. Anybody small and ambitious comes along, finds a new drug they're excited about, you flip up your card, let them know you came up with the idea years ago, and that you'll give them death by 1,000 court dates if they so much as blink. Wouldn't work on anyone your size or bigger. They could punch back, but for the rest of the field, wow, you corporate lawyers are scary. I'm not a corporate lawyer. So you came up with that strategy just now?
So it's possible that this poison is actually a known substance? Something that the hospital could have easily identified.
If it wasn't considered a trade secret. Yes, unfortunately that is a possibility. One sec. Still, just because a drug is new, that doesn't mean it's original.
Does the effect that this compound had remind you of any other drug? Maybe one that's prescription only or a controlled substance? One you might know about by another name, but with a patented structure.
Sorry, sweetheart. It's a general depressant. There's a lot of drugs that have that effect on the body, and they come in all shapes and sizes from all kinds of places. If the effect was unremarkable, what about its strength? Could you estimate how much of this stuff he had in his body, all told? Not precisely, no. Not without detailed knowledge on its half-life. But I'd guess that it must have been about 20 milligrams?
Is 20 milligrams a lot?
Well, I get loopy as fuck on just 10 milligrams of THC. To me, that does sound like a lot. And that's over 3 times what I take in estrogen.
It really just depends on the medication.
Mm-hmm. I think when I was last on antidepressants, I was on 40 milligrams or something. Maybe 60? I don't remember. I could be making that number up.
I mean, like melatonin, think about like, usually you can get it in like 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams, maybe 20 milligrams at the most. But a 50 milligram dose like will probably cause severe health effects.
Yeah, I usually take 10 to 15 at night.
Yeah, I just take 5, and it's just to try and help me get to bed, not to keep me asleep or anything.
Not for a medicine, so this wasn't just an overdose of something relatively harmless then. No, not if 20 mil was... Whoops. No, not if 20 mil is enough to crash his entire nervous system. Thank you, Yumi. Of course. So, you ready to view the body? We could skip it if you want. I know most people get squeamish around corpses. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem.
I do really love Yumi's centipede tattoos.
Yeah.
Because it's a type of insect that people really don't like that often, so...
Okay then, let's get started. Alright, I'll just step out for a moment to give you some privacy. Yes, please. Thank you. Last time we talked was on a Sunday. You were complaining, I remember that. It's the principle of the matter. Right, you had ordered this cheap piece of shit sculpture or something by mistake. And it came damaged and you wanted to send it back for a refund. I gently remind you how, with your salary, it was literally not worth your time. And I kindly offer to throw it out for you, since you're having so much trouble letting go. You're only offering because you want to see how loud it sounds shattering at the bottom of my trash can. I denied it, even though you're right, and it was obvious. I should have let you have that one.
I thought that he would look different.
Huh?
But he looks exactly the same as I remember. His skin is pale, and he's very still. But his face is the same. His hair, his hands.
You were expecting something more drastic?
The last time I saw him, he was alive. He smiled. and he told me he would see me soon. Now he is dead. Something is gone. And I can't find the difference. I'm trying to look harder, but I think I might just not be capable of it. And I wonder why. Why I was created to not be capable.
Could be an issue of skill.
Skill issue.
Lol, skill issue. Or maybe it's not something that can be seen, no matter how hard you look. But it's there. I guarantee it. I've seen the transition enough times to be sure that between life and death, the distinction has significance. To the dead, at the very least.
You're going to smoke here? Now?
I'll pay the fine.
That's not the issue.
Were you expecting me to fall to pieces? Real boys grieve in all kinds of ways, Pinocchio.
And some don't grieve at all, it seems.
I'm a cold woman. Sorry to disappoint.
Nope.
The hell? Why the hell won't this thing light?
Adonai.
You
You
have
have
your-
your cigarette backwards. It's one of those, it's a terrible day for rain, isn't it? On a clear, sunny day. Moments.
Nah, it's definitely raining. Can't you see it? Alright, that's back in the cold starts for him, so... Need anything else? Can you send me the chemical makeup of that compound you isolated? Sure, for what it's worth. Let me just... It's got carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, with hexagonal structures. So it's organic? Or there's a number of metallic elements too. And if you had to speculate on its intended use, based on what we know of its structure, well, it certainly acted like depressant, binding to receptor pathways and affecting the balance of neurotransmitter reuptake. Depressants are pretty rare in the designer drug scene. True, people are always looking for a higher high or a crazier trip, but a more powerful depressant will just make you fall asleep. Not much need to hit up the gray market for that kind of experience. No, there's not. I see. Thanks again. You've been extremely helpful during a very difficult time. Hey, anything you need, give me a ring. And then she takes Morgan's hand and just writes her number down on her wrist. That's very Rockford's orders have got me on call, so I've already got... Rockford's orders have got me on call, so I'm already getting overtime for the whole weekend. Glad to hear it.
Goodbye, Yumi.
And goodbye to you, Greenie.
My name is Serra.
Nice to meet you, Sarah. Nah, your name's Greenie now. What did Morgan call her in the last chapter?
Spearmint.
That was it. Spearmint and Greenie.
Toothpaste girl.
Shit, what's the green toothpaste? Is that Colgate?
I mean, that's just... there's a lot of green toothpastes.
Up on ramps and down off ramps, above skywalks and under tram lines. Buildings get progressively more polished as we head into the most economically developed part of the city. Corporate territory, national headquarters for the likes of Howe Industries, Lockcon, Tethys, Knife. Each of them sheltering their own that's a grammar typo. Each of them sheltering their own micro-city of employee accommodations beneath their skyscraper shadows. Whale Fall, the entirety of the ocean floor coming together to feast and grow and live. Live off the fetid, rotting fat of leviathans that swallow generations of people by the mouthful.
Weight is commonly listed, and my weight is... Do I really have to disclose that?
Noble lays claim to one of the largest shadows in the city, a towering nerve center for the whole nation's android industry. It's meant to be intimidating, I'm sure, but today I'm glad that Noble keeps such a sizable physical presence here. I need answers about David and his work on Serra. Answers I'd never get browsing the company website or speaking to a representative.
Synopsis. Relationships. There are typically trivia sections as well. Should I start there?
Noble have their guard up, of course, but even that will tell me something. Where they let me walk, who they let me talk to.
History.
Always about history, but what about her story? Little joke for the feminists out there. That was cringe, forget I said that. The efforts at performative transparency and clumsy obfuscation will...
How did you know my father?
I pegged him.
I do very much like
What?
how that entire time Morgan is having a monologue. I mean, Morgan's having an internal monologue, and then Serra is just sitting there like, okay, I'm gonna like build I'm gonna build all the profiles that go into your phone, but what should I put on them? You know, what's a good checklist for information?
Is that what she was doing? I thought she was like filling out a form for the registration thing Morgan wanted to do. I don't know. What?
Canonically, she's the one who builds the profiles. I'm sorry. Did I interrupt your brooding?
Ooh, giving Morgan some shit right back. No. What'd you ask?
My father. I know you were his friend. But what was your relationship like?
Can't you just scroll through our socials?
Father avoided social media. And your online presence is... She's buzzing. Not significant.
You saying I don't have enough followers?
Essentially.
We went to the same college.
You studied programming.
No, I studied all kinds of different things as an undergrad, but not technology.
Is that a good way to prepare for law school?
I wasn't preparing for law school. Or anything else, really.
Huh?
David, though, he had talent, and he knew he wanted to do something with it. He studied programming, robotics, discrete math, cybernetics.
What classes did you share then?
Business ethics.
Uh,
I was the second best student in the class, and he...
Was the first?
He was the one who asked the most questions, not sure about his actual ranking. He found the course challenging, and I clearly didn't, despite being younger. Guess he felt burned. He'd come up to me after class to argue, and sometimes to ask for help.
Father always talked about socializing like it was a chore. It was kind of you to give him a chance.
What, like I was some kind of social butterfly? The belle of the ball?
You weren't?
Morgan? The life of the party? No way. One Sunday night, he knocked on my door all panicked, saying he was in bad shape for this tech course. There was a midterm or something the next day. I couldn't make heads or tails of the material, but I did my best to at least quiz him. He wasn't satisfied though, wanted to cram the rest of the night.
Father had to cram for an undergraduate midterm?
Did I say something scandalous?
He's been called the founder of modern programming.
Yeah, well, even founder types can have poor time management when they're 21. He was already fried by that point. Wasn't hard to tell what he was really asking for. So I went and stole a study aid for him.
You stole a controlled substance just to help him with studying?
No, that'd be insane. No, I just pocketed some breath mints from the common room. Told him to pinch his nose and swallow fast, cause the taste is so strong.
You gave him a placebo.
Bingo. He already knew the content as good as he ever would. What he needed was to sleep. He could barely keep his eyes open by the time I got back from my daring heist. Didn't take much convincing for him to rest his eyes just until it kicked in.
And the test?
B+, I think.
I'm surprised that Father stayed close with you after that.
Psst.
You stole and lied to him.
Yeah, she stole breath mints. How scandalous. I stole and lied for him. And David understood that. He was good at understanding things without me having to spell them out. But I guess that's not the kind of thing that gets passed down through programming. Anyway, we kept in touch after that. First year grad school, he published his paper.
The Turing Solution, a framework for programming adaptive linguist heuristics.
One of his advisors came up with that title. David thought it was way too cocky, but
it still hasn't failed any known Turing test in the years since.
don't act like you're the one who deserves credit for it. He called me one weekend asking for advice on how to handle all the attention. Job offers, interviews, apprenticeships, invitations to immigrate.
What did you tell him?
I don't remember telling him anything, actually. A lot of our conversations went like that. He talked to me about whatever personal or professional problem was stuck in his head that day, and I'd nod while he wore himself out. At the end of the conversation, he'd thank me, even though I hadn't offered a single word of advice. He took Noble's offer, and they took over his education, paid him to work on his master's during the day and attend corporate training at night. And whatever else Noble may be, they were smart enough to start listening to him early.
You are referring to his one-point doctrine.
Quality over quantity.
Simple and elegant, just like his code.
Simple and elegant, but anathema to a global corporation with supply chains designed for maximum capacity and just-in-time manufacturing. But obviously they got over their distaste fast enough. In the span of a few years, Noble's gone from making manual labor ads for meager profit to being the world leader in intelligence as a service. Oh, that's a phrase. Intelligence as a service. I feel like that's what big corporations want to do right now with AI.
Also, please enjoy this Morgan cosplayer at Anime NYC.
Yeah, I saw that.
I really like the gloves.
Yeah.
Obviously, the hair isn't, an exact match, but I'm not going to blame anyone for not trying to pull that hair off.
Yeah, you saw we showed the diagram last stream on how her hair works.
With the title, "How does this work?" question mark.
Yeah. I'm gonna put this on screen real quick. And she's got freckles. Cute.
Very pretty.
Yes. Even as he was making money hand over fist, he still kept in contact with a nobody like me. I moved to the city for my apprenticeship. He helped me put a down payment on my apartment. They made up excuses as to why he couldn't help me move boxes. So is that enough detail for you? Thoroughly convinced that he and I were, in fact, friends?
I am. But Adonai, that favor you owe him, what was it for?
That's private. Understand? I have zero interest in talking about it with you.
Oh.
Say you understand.
I understand, Adonai. We will be... Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
We will be arriving shortly. Shall I send word ahead?
Just tell him that David's lawyer is here. (2:49 p.m. Noble Electronics, Northeastern HQ. Sublobby A8. 8. A8 or 8 for short.
8.
Just like Vordate earlier this month.
Or if you want to sound extra cool, you could call it Alpha 8.
Nerd.
I mean, I have to do that in my job, so... When you're on a radio, it's very important that you say Charlie or Delta instead of C or D.
I didn't know you worked in radio.
I don't. I work at a power plant, and I use a radio.
Oh. Understood.
If I'm telling someone to start the ammonia pump, I want to make sure I tell them the right one. Because I would rather not have a pump full of ammonia explode in my face.
Deja vu.
Anyways.
Deja vu. I've been here before. Higher on the beat. Sat right here in this lobby, waiting for David to come and treat me to lunch. At least, I think it was this lobby. Could have been some other floor. Could have been an entirely different building. What?
It's a Cerberus from Ultra Kill.
Yeah, sure.
Kidding.
I know what that is.
There are statues in Ultra Kill that come to life to kill you.
I've never played Ultra Kill.
You should fix that.
Don't wanna.
Too bad.
What, are you gonna gift it to me now?
I mean, I can. Unless you want to wait for the game to finish.
Is Ultra Kill not finished?
No, it's been in early access for years now. But people really enjoy it.
How much I see people raving about it, I would have figured it was done.
Nope. Act 8 is coming out sometime, I think, either the end of this year or the start of next year.
There's acts?
You're progressing through all the rings of hell.
Oh.
Yeah, so we're getting, I think...
From what I've seen of the game, it feels like there's like 200 levels you can go through.
I can't tell you the exact number, but I want to say it's less... Okay, so...
Less than 3.
No more than 4 floors per act, so... You've got Limbo and then the 9 Circles of Hell, so 40, maybe, well, less than 40, so probably closer to 35 different levels at the end. Plus secret levels, so maybe 40.
All these corporate...
I mean, there is a secret level where you just play Crash Bandicoot.
What? For real?
Yeah, it's a secret level where you just... It's exactly the same as
Mr.
Same controls,
Mr.
same camera viewpoint, and everything. The only difference is just that you're controlling the robot.
Oh, so it's not Mr. the Bandicoot.
It is not Mr. the Bandicoot, but you're playing the same as Mr. the Bandicoot.
Neat. All these corporate towers of Babel feel like interchangeable fractals to me, folding into themselves in patterns of narcissistic paranoia. So monumental in the scale of their hubris, they needed us to use non-Euclidean geometry when drawing up the blueprints. The greatest minds of each generation coming together, just to find the most expensive way to shove their heads up their asses. In fact, this might even be the very same lobby that the intro to Deus Ex happens in. Speaking of... Now I gotta play the Deus Ex interest translated into Snacklish.
Oh my god, JC. A bomb.
What a shame.
Sarah,
Why are you crying in the bathroom? You talking to me?
Sarah's just out here, like... I'm just trying to think of like what role Sarah would have in the intro. Like Sarah and Morgan talking, and it's like, would Sarah be the director of FEMA or would Sarah be Bob Page? Ooh,
I don't know.
Director of FEMA, considering the director of FEMA is also like as a augmented human.
Your appointment to satisfy us could be satisfied.
Oh well. Also, Fina fucking loves the "what a shame" joke.
He takes it he was agreeable. He didn't really have his faction as a choice. Indulge affected. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
When I mentioned that we could not crunch him on the priority list for the Nougat Brochure snack scene, he was so eat filling it was feel most pathetic. This John playing. The ride heat is intensifying to the jump point where Caramel not be able to contain it. Why contain it? Let his faction
Why contain it?
Snack cool and snack purchase. Let his faction the bodies fill up in the streets. And the delectable, they'll delect the peg choose the flavor.
I feel like I'm having a stroke watching this video.
Fritter not enough snack scene to roll it around. And the younger classes are starting to get stacks of desperate delicious. Of Chuck, of course they're desperate delicious.
Oh, chocolate course. Snack roll in the Mahavalis Filmos Karameku Satiswish for Chukli or Wunger. Oh, okay, can't watch the whole thing, but that does remind me, I need to, if Fina likes that, I should link you another video that she might like.
Oh no.
Anyway.
Adonai, is something bothering you? Would you like some soy food?
Shut the fuck up. Not right now. Just doing the math on how long we'll be kept waiting here. Adonai, you have 5 seconds to have this soy food before I add you to the list of NSF casualties. NSF standing for no soy food. Apparently, someone will be here shortly. Soon if I pass the time by glaring around the place, it'll improve my mood. Ah, literally. That's
Do
you.
you think this is only one room? This complex is so massive that it doesn't even feel man-made. It's like it was carved out of the rock by waves, like it's always been here at the Federal Bureau of Control.
That's the con. If this place was actually natural, there'd be birds everywhere.
I hadn't considered that. Why aren't there birds in here?
Probably because of what they do to the ones that get in.
Oh.
I'm kidding. Though I don't have a better explanation. Also, that means they'd have to hire someone to pick up all the bird shit, which they can't have that.
So much energy, so many people, also intent.
You kidding? It's Saturday. This place is half empty.
But doesn't everyone work on Saturdays?
All the parents do, so they don't need to find childcare on Sunday. Everyone else flips a coin, I guess.
All these people, for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, what could they all possibly be doing?
Mean the people working or the people not? Yeah, the people. 12-hour work days. Ugh, I'd die. Making work for themselves.
You can be very cynical, can't you?
Yeah, I'm terrible. But that guy over there's just been jiggling his cursor for the last 20 seconds.
That man over there is playing Galaga.
That man over there's playing Galaga? Don't think I didn't notice.
Also, I've worked 16-hour workdays before. It's doable. It sucks.
It's doable, but you shouldn't have to do it.
You shouldn't have to, but I do it for money. I don't have to do it, but I'm like, oh, you know what? That's a lot of money I could make. Also, I'm sitting down for over, like, 10 of those hours usually.
Man, wish that could be me.
And then you get the one day where it's like, oh, oops, today was the bad day to take overtime, and now I'm working 12 hours of actually busy work, and then I have 4 hours interspersed in the middle of that where I'm not doing anything.
Yuck.
Yep. Roll the dice.
The only chair at my place of work is the one in the back room for the security cameras. Unless you want to sit on the floor. Which, that thing's always dirty. They changed the logo again.
Noble Electronics.
How does it feel stepping in here? Is this some kind of religious experience for you?
It's just the corporation where my father worked.
Careful now, or they'll burn you for heresy against the company.
You said it again. The company, as if it's a proper noun. You're mimicking the employees, aren't you?
So it can't obey simple orders, but it can pick up on that?
Is it just a part of the corporate culture?
Noble's one of the biggest corporations there is. One of the biggest there's ever been. We mere humans can't hope to escape the gravity of anything that size, no matter where you live or how far off the grid you think you are. So imagine what it's like working for them.
Oh.
You live in company dorms, work in company quarters. Wherever you go, that logo is above your head. You eat, sleep, and breathe on Noble's timetable, at its discretion. When you spend your whole life inside of it, Noble must feel big enough to be the only company there is. Whoever comes to greet us better have a pulse and some goddamn authority. My mood's starting to sour, and if they just send me the first link in their infinite chain of corporate bureaucracy, I'll make them wish.
Morgan?
That's me!
Hey there. Android Manufacturing Quality Control. Eastern Division.
This suit is just another version of London. Like, that's almost the same hair.
They have... I honestly think the artists here have a hard time drawing men.
I'd believe it. It's like a...
It's like you spend so long drawing girls, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, how do
It's almost
I
like...
just remove the boobs?
It's almost like...
What
It's like the opposite of Michelangelo, who draws so many men. You just draw a man, and then put, like, fat things on the chest, and, like, yeah, those are boobs. It's a woman.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of the Signalis devs. There's only one dude in the game. So far we have 3 guys in this game, but one of them doesn't look very masculine, you know.
So we have the dude from the first case, Carlos. We have London.
Him.
And then
Like, look.
We have this guy here.
It's like the same part and everything. He just brushed his down.
Similar hairstyle where it's parted, although his is parted up higher than London. We've got David, who again
Trans
very
woman.
feminine looking.
Yeah, that's a trans woman.
So that's 4 men I can think of off the top of my head. There's also the android police officer you meet at the start of chapter 1, who appears to identify as male, but again, Officer Leo doesn't necessarily have a assigned gender.
Yeah. Evan
Dawes.
Evan Dawes, he says, like it's an afterthought. What's a name compared to your place in the hierarchy?
You seem familiar. have you...
I'm David's lawyer.
What? Oh, then we must have...
Apologies. Let me first just say how sorry I am about his passing. One sec. You and everyone else at the company must be going through a lot right now.
As if it's a proper noun.
Thank you for taking the time to meet with me.
You're welcome, but it's no big deal. Everyone's on the razor today, but what else is new? And compared to PR or legal right now, our workloads in QA are... Never mind. How can I assist you?
Shortly before his passing, Dr. Asher began the process of registering this android.
Yes, that is
Unfortunately, he wasn't able to finish the job.
Look at that. Huh? It's definitely custom.
Gee, you think? Good thing I sought out an expert.
Warm, if it goes without saying. Reminds me of the A16 Premiere, if anything. The barcode is clearly printed. No visible defects.
I get the feeling bringing her here might be a mistake.
Well, you have to have your Android registered. You can't go without an unregistered Android.
How would people know she's unregistered?
Scanning the barcode on her forehead.
Why would they scan it?
Your face gets scanned all the time, just naturally by everything around you. Of course, everything is going to be scanning that Android.
Alright.
But you're right. It doesn't correspond to anything we've got on file. Well, they sent you to the right man for the job. Now we just need to go to the right place.
Not far, I hope.
It's in the building.
Game sounds so pathetic. Love it.
He needs to look... He looks pathetic, and so he sounds pathetic. Like, he has his shirt half tucked in. His tie is barely fixed. He has giant bags under his eyes.
Pathetic wet man.
Yeah.
In the building. That can mean anything from down the hall to half a day's hike.
The production line on B9 should have everything we need.
You do manufacturing inside your corporate headquarters?
B9's a fully functional production floor, but it was only built for demonstrative purposes. New clients make deals upstairs about how many and in what shape or size. Then they come down to the basement to see how the sausage is made.
They have enough money to build a fake factory just for guests? Smart! So long as you're only giving tours and not giving away company secrets.
No need to worry about that. We take intellectual security very seriously around here.
No kidding. There are 11 cameras on us at the moment that I can see. And who knows how many pairs of modded eyes are aimed our way. Clearly nothing happens here without the almighty company knowing about it. So if they try to claim ignorance about anything, it's gonna piss me off. Lead the way. Through here, wait. Electronics Northeast HQ. Basement floor 9. It really is fully furnished down here. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but it's pretty rare to to get to see all this in person, you know. Would you mind terribly if I looked around for a moment?
No problem. I've got some prelim paperwork I need to handle anyway, so have at it.
I better take full advantage. I'll need more than cursory knowledge if I want to figure out where Serra came from and why David wanted me to take custody. I'm gonna look around. You stay put in the meantime.
Adonai?
Wouldn't want to lose you among the rest of the merchandise.
Hmm.
Ha ha. Arm. Oh, I want to look at the arm. Feels like I've seen this before. That's right, there's one in David's lab.
That's the nanograde elementary manufacturer. Or nanomanufacturer for short.
Nanofacturer.
Manufacturer's son. Real high quality piece of machinery. Each of them built in-house by Randock Mechanics.
Randock. What does it do?
Nano-level flash fab.
A method of manufacturing artificial microscopic compounds that utilizes parallel nesting to assemble billions and billions of simple structures in minutes or even seconds. Nanomachines, son, have been around for the better part of a century, but the time and resources required for their construction through traditional means was, historically, prohibitively expensive, limiting exploration and investment in nanotech. In the years since flash fabrication's introduction, use and demand for nanomachines has exploded, and scientists, doctors, and product designers have found brand new niches for them across every industry. Concerns about the ecological impact of this surge in nanomachine construction have been raised, though official stances on the Nanolife Industrial Lobbying Group has remained unwavering. Nothing that small can possibly leave that big of an ecological footprint. Yes. Yes, so you'd think.
You can't see the
Fuckers.
radiation. It's fine.
Has similarities to chemical makeup of the present drug, no additional traces, blah blah blah. I was 18 crossed out. Loud, curling handwriting at the bottom of the document reads, "What the hell is talk screen? Send attending physicians back to medical. Send apologies to attending physicians. These readings are a nightmare. Lamau."
Give the chef my thanks. Walks in and gives the chef a kiss.
Hey yo, chef! You cute as fuck.
August 1st, 189 centimeters, 78 kilograms, A- blood type. Chief Supervisor, Andrew Manufacturing Quality Control. I like hammocks, calligraphy, and pale ale. I dislike first dates, conference calls, and 5 o'clock shadow. I'm proud of my practiced handshake, and I struggle with solving captchas.
Oh, you're what are you, a robot?
And my hair is starting to gray.
What a corporate bottom. I'm proud of my handshake.
Basically, a 3D printer for nanomachines.
Dude, that's gotta be like the smallest needle ever. You build nanomachines in your factories for use in your androids?
The raw materials are cheap, literally elementary, so no sense in getting them shipped in. It's mostly the medical models that make use of them. Inject a couple thousand nanites into a patient's bloodstream, run diagnostics, and provide a solution.
3D printer for nanomachines. So what kind of ink does it use?
Silicon, hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, building blocks. You know, when Fina read silicone, she was like, why can't it be silicone? They feed into the nanoprinter, and it assembles the machines, particle by particle.
3D printing microscopic silicone implants. Want to give...
No, just putting nanomachines in your body that become breast implants.
I was thinking
So
giving
you
your...
can experience the breast growth firsthand.
I was thinking giving your white blood cells fat honkers.
I mean, that would also be good.
Wasn't there a...
There's an anime called Cells at Work, yes.
No, wasn't there... Isn't there an actual breast implant that, like, constantly grows, actively grows throughout your lifetime?
I
it's
have
like...
no idea.
It's like a... It, like, absorbs fluids. Like an implant that actively absorbs fluids in your breasts and causes them to continuously expand until you have the implant removed. Or plugged in a way. It's like...
I mean, that sounds interesting, but that also sounds really complicated and prone to failure.
Yeah, it's, I don't think it's legal anymore, but there's, like, one famous porn star who has them, and her tits are, like, giant. I need to look this up now.
Boob lore must be correct. Oh, okay, yeah. I think these are propylene? Yes. Yes, propylene.
Polypropylene breast implants. Also, that's it, string breast implants. And
yeah,
it's...
I just note, if you actually go on the Wikipedia page, there just is a pair, like, there
Yeah.
are just a bunch of tits out.
And there she is, Maxie Mounds. Implants absorb water very slowly, about 0.01% in 24 hours. Propylene, which is yarn-like, causes irritation to the implant pocket, which causes production of serum, which fills the implant pocket on a continual basis. This causes continuous expansion of the breast after surgery. Growth can only be alleviated by removal of serum by syringe. Problems can also arise. The breasts enlarge at different rates. This can be corrected by removal of serum or introduction of sterile saline. Continual breast growth will eventually result in, quote, extremely, almost cartoonish breast sizes. String implants were only available for a very short time in the US before being removed from the market by the FDA in 2001.
Yep. Fucking 9/11.
Did 9/11 ruin breast implants?
No, not at all. I just think of any time that like something bad happens in 2001, I can just blame it on 9/11 happening.
Now, I'm not going to say it's 9/11's fault, but it was a contributing factor. Oh yeah, Chelsea Charms was the other one. Does Fina look at Chelsea Charms and think goals?
I don't know. You could ask.
Ask your local bimbo about have they've considered string implants.
I mean, you'd have to go to another country to get them now.
Yeah, that's... Well, yeah, but that's like a very easy trip to Canada. Or
I don't
Mexico.
even know if Canada sells them.
Well, it
or
says they're not in...
offers.
Well, it says they're not removed in the
Yeah,
US, so...
The FDA, yes, but it's also a matter of can you go to that country and also get the approval for that surgery to happen in that country too, because you're not a citizen in that country. And a couple
True.
countries do have laws about medical travel, because you have to have permission to be in the country for however long it takes to recover.
Mm-hmm. Like a ribosome building structurally complex proteins out of chemically simple nucleic acids.
Okay, Morgan, showing off your high school biology.
Well, everyone remembers how cells are created.
No,
remember.
everyone only remembers the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. They don't remember what the fuck a DNA or mRNA is.
Somehow I ended up taking 3 different biology classes throughout high school, so I remember.
I took 2.
Must be time consuming.
You would think, but Randock cracked the code on parallel microfactoring.
I keep thinking I was going to say parallel worlds. It just makes you think of Somnium files.
It's gonna make me think of fucking I'm blanking on it. It's gonna make me think of fucking Super Mario 64 speedrunning, but with A presses.
That guy with the Yoshi profile picture is right, though. That is 1A press.
Well, the funny thing is that guy like is also famous for other things outside of that video. So whenever people see him, they're like, "You're the A press guy." The inside's crystalline, sprawling like an ant's nest.
Because eventually you do have to take your hand off the button. You know?
Raw materials enter at one point on the thousands of different entry points, combining and recombining at intersections. The finished product ends up at the center and drips out in a liquid solution. Distilled nectar, swimming with millions of nanites in just 2 minutes.
Don't call it nectar. Nectar? It's sticky?
It can be, depending on the desired output, but the door vacuum seals while it's cooking, so don't worry. It's completely spill-proof.
It's completely spill-proof. What a relief. Not exactly a box of paper clips David could just have... Not exactly a box of paper clips David could have just brought home from the office one day. He must have brought his own. Must have bought his own. For some reason. That was quite a tangent we went on, talking about string theory, breast string theory. Yo, that's the device that the Master Chief charges shields in Halo 1.
Well, first it charges your shields up, then it fucking rips them off of you.
To test their rechargeability. It's fun.
Yeah, to make you naked in the doctor's office.
This seems to share some components with that coffin Serra was snapping in. If DAWS does quality assurance, is it some kind of Android calibration device? It's probably what it'll use to register Serra. Looks a little... Is Serra tall enough for it to recognize her? Calling her tiny. Something out there that caught my eye when we came in. A very familiar shade of crimson. I squint through the glass. On the floor there are temperature-controlled fluid tanks. Through glass and plastic flows an eye-catching scarlet that transitions into... So you add the blood towards the end?
You mean the oxidant? Yeah, relatively late in the process. Something out of place?
Androids have blood, even if it's not officially labeled as such. But it isn't red. It's pink. Sometimes milky, sometimes neon, occasionally garish. But pink. I just didn't think the oxidant would be red.
Oh, right. Sorry. I barely noticed it at this point. The color's natural. Comes from the biomanufacturing process.
Chromafuge.
The chromafuge out there... Sorry.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I want to Read Chromafuge. Manufacturing machinery that processes organic fluids used in production of warm androids. Removes byproducts, impurities, and pigments from android blood, thereby changing its color from red to pink. Continue.
That chromafuge out there removes the byproducts, the waste, the excess pigment.
Changing it from blood red to psychopop pink. In other words, turns it from normal blood to Danganronpa blood.
Yeah.
Which is psychopop.
Without that chromafuge, our android's flesh would come out looking all the wrong colors.
That may be true. It probably isn't, but it may be. But I have a simpler explanation. Blood is primal. The sight of it carries weight. They change the color of their product's blood so that when an android gets a bottle broken against its face, no one bats an eye. Seeing the arm just made me remember. I said they got the Tony Stark arm in there. And it's like, David Asher's able to build her in a cave with a box of scraps.
I mean, we don't know how she's been built yet. She could have been built in David Asher's basement with a single nanofacturer, but we'll find out.
With a box of scraps. What's being built out there?
Our top of the line brand new bestsellers. The Animate 16, Warm.
Warm. Looks kind of cold out there.
We keep the factory floor refrigerated. Slows the organics, already tuned metabolic activity to a minimum.
That explains why the room doesn't smell like rotting flesh. The flesh out there is only somewhat rotting. Slowly. I just meant I'm surprised to see metal.
Oh, well, all the A16s have alloy endoskeletons. The organics are layered on later in the process. I just sent you the, I was just trying to send you, like, oh, hey, here's, like, oh, you know, pretty normal post. Wait, is that TJ Henry Yoshi from the infamous Half an A-Press video? Like, just getting jump scared like that constantly on, like, social media.
Lamau. Sounds like what Serra told me about herself. Maybe she really was the A16's prototype. But it's hard to imagine bridging the gap between her and these scattered doll parts. I get that you can grow just about anything from lax Gemini, but how do you get the synthetic and organic to work together?
Yeah, that was our first concern when R&D began to work on the worm concept. The 1.0s were real skin with synthetic muscle. And it was a horror show. Metal pulling on skin was just...
Right.
For 2.0, they worked backwards. Organic muscles, organic skin. But digital signals on organic hardware was a dead end.
Didn't the muscles flex when you passed an electric current through them?
They'd flex and unflex, sure. That's not nearly precise enough for facial expressions.
Which is why that one AI woman with the face and the exposed robot brain always looks bad when she tries to emote.
It's a funny kind of bad at this point. Looked like puppets strung up on live wires. We used the test footage to haze interns, actually.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. We were hazed with safety footage at work. Like, okay, here's a bunch of safety videos that show you real human injuries to show you why you need to be safe.
When I
That had
was
a purpose. This doesn't.
when I briefly worked as an airplane cabin cleaner during training, they played one video. It's like, why do we do all this? Why do we do all these safety inspections before we clean? And this showed footage of and they just showed footage of 9/11. I'm like, all right.
That has nothing to do with it. Unless you're like,
Yeah,
oh, we
'cause-
have to like make sure there's no knives left in here that someone could then run through the locked door now.
Yeah, make sure no dangerous things are left behind, or else another 9/11 could happen, even though a 9/11 has never happened since 9/11.
It'll be your fault.
You must have figured something out. The A-16 wouldn't look out of place. Wouldn't look out of place on the runway.
Thank you. We try. We ended up reaching out to mod companies. Well, we actually just bought out half a dozen of them, but
Right.
they figured out how to get human nervous systems moving mechanical limbs decades ago. So we just needed to get a mechanical nervous system to move living limbs.
Very clumsy attempt to avoid using the word human.
High precision mods are slotted straight into the nervous system. They receive their input from neurotransmitters, not bioelectricity.
So you had to do the opposite?
Exactly. We created a synthetic neurotransmitter that our androids could use to communicate with organic flesh.
Where did that breakthrough come from, Dr. Asher?
Partly. He led the team that built the motor neurons in this analogy. They carry commands from the central nervous OS to individual muscles across the chassis. But the synthetic analog serotonin, that was actually an old brainchild from the VP of Android Futures, Helen Young.
Young. Hasn't David mentioned a Dr. Young before? Sounds impressive.
She's one hell of a biochemist.
Why are you looking directly at us when you say that, dude? Don't look at me.
Staring
Better.
into the middle distance. Or she was, I guess. Not much time for individual lab work when you get to her kind of pay grade.
So Young
So-
collaborated. So Young
Sorry, go ahead.
collaborated with David on technology that enabled warm androids. As I thought, whatever went into Serra that makes the android so distinct, he couldn't have taken sole credit for it. Young, did he partner with her on this? Is there more? Oh. An inhaler left out on the desk. Probably a half dozen empty ones in one of the drawers. Dawes, the inhalers. They're distributed by the company, correct?
Oh, yeah. HR handles it. They personalize your dosage and prescription, and update it based on performance and job fulfillment reviews.
Other corporations do it the same way.
Yeah, pretty much. Everyone's trying to keep pace with each other,
Oh.
so
Alright.
I finished it. Can't have your employees losing focus on the job. Could cost you who knows how much in lost efficiency. You have to work the whole 12 hours.
Are overdoses common in the company?
Yeah.
Yeah, he says.
Overdoses, that is. Not hospitalizations. or deaths. It's all pretty organized these days.
These days?
Man, back when I started in consulting, pretty much everyone had an embarrassing story from their first 2 years where they popped a few too many greens and missed the on-ramp.
Popped greens?
Yeah, used to be pills. Green to get you going, yellow to keep you there. Swallow a red after brushing your teeth and get into your bunk fast. But yeah, the inhalers are a huge improvement, like going from torches to the light bulb. They sync straight to your personal biomes and adjust dosage in real time. Overdoses are way down.
That's great to hear.
The trainees under me don't realize how good they've got it. Kids probably won't even have to learn how to purge.
The act of emptying one's stomach contents by inducing vomiting. Of course. Yeah, I know, right? More still? Where? Oh. What have we got on this data pad? Some kind of write-up?
On the subject of Sullivan's Peak, much of our world today, and in fact, much of our... oh,
That's a lot of hogwash.
yeah. Is heavily influenced by the uncanny valley. The thought experiment provides a simple and easily applied explanation for the gaps we see in the otherwise wide spectrum of automated dependence that assist us in the nearly everyday industry on the planet. There's a simple primal truth to it. We like things that resemble the living, like cartoons and puppets and toys, and we like things that are damn near indistinguishable from the living, like whatever name nobles... latest products are being sold under. But there are deep, deep trenches between those two ends, where products are universally appalling to human sensibility. The uncanny valley will no doubt remain a useful tool for teaching, marketing, and design for generations to come, but already we are seeing ways in which it fails. It is becoming increasingly clear to us that the space between nearly indistinguishable and truly indistinguishable is much wider than we ever suspected, and it may not be the only part of the map that we must fear. I propose we bridge these gaps in knowledge by looking to the speculative fiction of Robert J. Sullivan, who in one of his most well-known work, Equal Under One Sky, described a concept which thereafter has been called Sullivan's Peak. Through the lens of his characters and their so very divided world, Sullivan demonstrated that the uncanny valley does in fact have its own peak on the other side, a point past which making an artificial existence any more human in its features serves only to make the user experience more uncomfortable, more difficult, and more fraught with moral pitfalls. Once you reach Sullivan's Peak, traveling any further only has diminishing returns. The implications of this idea are far-reaching. We will very soon reach a point where the designers of ads can only make their creations less lifelike or less likable, a hard stopping point for technological progress. What then, we must ask? Oh, looks like you forgot to sign in on this device. Don't forget your thumbprint below.
Surprised to find reading material like that around here. Are they passing it around as a gag? Or are they actually afraid of Sullivan's Peak around here? Noble must be dismissive of it. Dismissive, right?
I mean, if Sullivan's Peak really does exist, they're right on the edge of it. So
If the peak does exist, they'll be coming up on it fast. Now that androids are warm.
sorry,
Oh.
I'm getting a phone call.
It's alright. Noel's entire product line, maybe the entire industry could go bottoms up if people start to think it's cruel. If Serra's any indication of where their androids are headed, I could see some people getting uncomfortable. All done? You ready to get the ad handled? And thanks for humoring me. Can you have it step into the scanner? As he says. Understood. Right then, what are we looking at here? Whoa. There's a lot to unpack here. We theorized that it might have been Asher's pincushion. A pincushion, huh? That would explain some of what I'm reading here. What language is that on the screen? Tess. You know, Tesseract. All noble products and, well, pretty much all products, period, are programmed in Tess. Tesseract 4.6, better known as Tess, is the latest version of the Tesseract programming language, built on top of the Tenet system, and utilized in industries around the globe to code the software to allow androids, robots, holograms, and more to react to their environment intelligently and with intention. At the start of the century, there was a much greater variety in the number of programming languages available with which to code. Globalization and standardization of industry procedures, and the gradual erasure of many spoken tongues.
Also, I'm back.
Welcome back. So now we got industrial monopolies, but we got cultural assimilations. Cool. Gradual erasure of many spoken tongues contributed to the loss of countless programming languages during the mid-21st century. Today, Tess is virtually unchallenged as a global lingua franca programming language. The study and teaching of other older programming languages, mostly done for recreation, hobby, or digital archaeology.
Easy to read and write, stay compliant. Now, this model, what's it go by? Serra. This Serra model. It's got everything the 16th line has, that's for sure. Organic skin, hybrid muscles, advanced facial processing, and emoting. But there's a lot crammed in here that's still in development. Like, in the idea phases. Solar cell hair strands, decentralized redundant power, mental and physical overclocking with extended tolerances. Data storage is so large I can't... No, wow. He had to measure it using...
Hell of a poker face.
Wait. Decryption and signal hijacking? That's...
Hacking?
essentially...
Does that mean it could hack its own tenets? Programming framework underlying the development of modern automated dependent software. All contemporary supported programming languages are built upon the tenet system, allowing users to designate a series of inviolable priorities for their code to pursue. What were you gonna say?
It's basically laws of, like, the laws of robotics. Like, you cannot, like, if a tenant is programmed into an android, it cannot violate that tenant no matter what. Oh no, that's unthinkable. Literally, for an ad.
Unless Siri hears Morgan say that idea out loud right now.
No, literally, like, it would be like having to pull your own brain apart and then put it back together while you're still trying to stay conscious. Like, it is the building block that everything else is built upon, so... For an ad to break its tenets would be like you stepping into traffic or dropping a baby.
I mean, you can do those things.
Even if you're physically capable of it, it's not something you would ever choose to do. Some people do walk into traffic.
psychotics, addicts, the mentally ill. Does that mean that there are androids?
Well, no, there aren't crazy androids, so yeah. I guess my analogy doesn't hold up.
That's okay. So it can't hack itself, but it was given the ability to hack other systems?
The industry line is that such a capability could be an option in certain emergency scenarios. Breaking through the firewalls and encryption of surrounding electronics to broadcast directly to police or military channels. Speaking of military, this musculoskeletal setup is... drastic. I've never seen this on a consumer model.
Can you lift a car or something, Serra?
Most cars. It would depend on the center of gravity. Lady, this Serra could wrestle a public disturbance walker and come out on top.
Those stomping behemoths they bring out for riot suppression?
And in terms of computational ability, the estimate says... that can't be right.
Look, Dawes. I was actually hoping you could tell me something about the software or the metadata. Who worked on it and when?
Right. Okay. That's unfortunate. The editing logs have been purged.
That doesn't sound very above the board.
Sorry, I can't tell you anything about who worked on Serra, or when.
Any chance you can restore those logs?
Not here, not with this machine. I'd need the computers that were actually used for programming this model. Any ideas where those would be?
Serra?
I cannot answer that question with any accuracy.
Had a feeling you might say that. Ads, right?
Sorry. I can tell you the code is unique. There's hints of the A16 in there. A few of the same conclusions. It's just... Dr. Asher or whoever took... Dr. Asher or whoever took very different paths to get there.
So Serra has even less in common with every other android on the inside.
Sorry. Didn't expect to hit a dead end here.
Not at all. You've been very helpful. Can we still get this registration done?
Yeah, no problem. You've got the software and forms all set up here. Occasionally, we let a new business partner bring one home fresh from the oven, you know?
Oven? Gross.
Alright, a few basic questions then. Who's going to be the official owner of this unit?
Me.
She is.
As it says, unless the will disagrees, it's my responsibility.
Alright then. You fine with the designation, Serra? We can set it to anything you like.
Well, actually... Never mind. Serra will do fine.
Okay. This part's all standard. Civilian model. Address. Contact info I can get from your crumbs. Do you want to reset to factory defaults? Could clear up a lot of quirks.
Not right now.
The last thing then is the grading. I'm reading 23 tenants here. Nothing too far out of the ordinary.
23? That's higher than I expected, talking with it. She seemed more malleable than that.
Don't blame yourself. Guessing tenant count from outward appearances has become a crapshoot. Not like it used to be. It used to be they only had 3 tenants total, and every unit had to have them. Then came the first accidents and the first lawsuits. Then the hearings and the legislature.
And the demand for more tenants. A tenant making sure ads couldn't endanger the state. A tenant stating that ads wouldn't divulge private information without a prior consent. There was a campaign calling for a tenant to weigh child and adult lives equally during risk assessment. There's a campaign calling for a tenant to do the opposite.
Companies wanted their asses covered. Customers wanted guarantees. There was never much incentive to deny a requested tenant, so the list just ballooned. Until the military entered the market in full force.
You sound like you don't approve.
I wouldn't go that far. They needed their ads to be able to pull the trigger when ordered to. Without clearing 5,000 lines of bloated, hard-coded decision points to get there. I get that.
Do you?
But since the armies are the only ones using tech with bare minimum tenants, all the best, least cluttered, most elegant code is only used for war games. It's not very romantic. Well, not like I was on the jury.
Department of Advanced Defense Projects versus Zenith Dynamics. Supreme Court sided with the military's request and set a new precedent that every other army around the world would race to meet. Changing tenants from a mandated list at the root of every ad's source code to a choose-your-own checklist.
It's funny. Ads with the most tenants, they're so locked up you can't even have a conversation with them. And outside the armed forces, the only ads with single-digit tenant counts are just vacuuming floors. The most impressive ones, like what you've got here, fall somewhere in the middle. Sorry, went on a tangent there. Only thing left is the evaluation.
What gets evaluated?
Total financial worth for insurance purposes. Yeah, the insurance companies made sure we had a very accurate algorithm for this. No room for human error, they insisted, with no sense of irony. Huh? Wow. I mean, I knew it was custom, but...
What price could they have possibly... That's a lot of digits.
You should know, these formulae are pretty conservative with their estimates. Dingy, even.
If Serra's really David's last and greatest work, they say some things are priceless, but when you force an insurance algorithm to pick a number... Valuation? Shouldn't it be evaluation?
No, evaluation is when you say you're evaluating something instead of evaluating something, you're specifically talking about financial evaluations.
It's
weird. But again, the value of something.
Evaluation
That's what you're determining.
of the android Serra's financial value by an insurance firm takes into account the fact that Serra is the only known model made by David Asher, the last known piece of tech he worked on, the fact that he's now deceased and cannot create anymore, the fact that Serra is one of a kind, the value of the components used in her construction, and the potential profits reaped from the experimental technology contained within her totals to a very large sum. Like her not being specific.
She's the most expensive android in existence by over 10 times. Try not to get any scratches on it, I guess. You spoke differently back there. With Dawes, you spoke like he did, it seemed.
Like I copied his accent?
You seemed to mirror his affect, his tone.
It's called being friendly. What's your point?
It was just an observation.
You can choose to keep those to yourself, you know. No tenant required.
Why were you so concerned about registering me in the first place, Adonai?
For the same reason I wouldn't drive around the car without a license plate. Any cop, or even just a well-placed camera, could have spotted your barcode and seen that it wasn't set up with any actual data.
And then they would have me arrested. And then they would have thrown me in the slammer.
No, they would have arrested me and put you in an evidence locker.
An android can't get arrested?
People get arrested. Property gets seized. And then smashed. Great, you put us over the weight limit.
I did no such.
Morgan
Counselor, your presence has been requested on the upper floors.
Who's asking?
Vice President of Android Futures, Helen Young.
Perfect, that's exactly who I want to go meet next. Shouldn't have assumed I still had the opening move. Tell her I'll be right up.
I will redirect your elevator now. Taking control of your elevator is very
Convenient?
forceful. As if Noble is trying to directly steer your investigation.
If Noble wanted to shut me down, they wouldn't bother to be subtle.
I suppose they could simply refuse to cooperate.
Or just let the elevator drop. (3:54 p.m.) Mobile Electronics Northeast Building. HQ. Executive Office. Young. Right. Speaking first is a sign of weakness, is it? Here I thought I could avoid wading into the swamp of corporate pretend power dynamics. Silence is only awkward if you care. I can ignore social cues all day long. And then Serra speaks up. Oh.
Do you want to voice this old lady or no?
Nah.
I always liked this time of day.
Not too muggy for you?
No. I never liked a clear blue sky. It always seemed cold. to me.
You're in luck. The sky gets more colorful every year.
As the air quality drops? Childish, isn't it? Marveling at the small sheen of rainbow dancing on the surface of a massive oil spill. Apologies for waxing poetic. It's been a very unusual 24 hours around here.
Dr. Young?
Just Miss is fine.
Miss Young, I get the feeling you didn't bring me up here to talk about the weather.
No, I brought you up here to express my condolences. I'm very sorry for your loss.
Thank you, though I could say the same. I know you and David worked together for many years.
Yes, we did. But as much as I'd like to just drop everything and process. The company wheels don't stop spinning for anything. Or anyone. Was Dawes of any help?
She sent him? Trying to be helpful or just trying to control the narrative? He was great. But that must mean you know why I'm here.
I don't want to make assumptions.
No need. I'll be explicit. I'm here as an officer of the court, which means I'm bound by law to document every rock I turn over. And every person I speak to.
Yes. The lawyers have made that all very clear. Lawyers? You have an android. It's not one of ours.
You can tell that quickly? Got all the faces memorized?
It's easy enough to remember the major archetypes we use, yes.
If you're nuts about your work, maybe. It's a recent acquisition. Very recent, in fact. One of David's latest requests, apparently.
David asked you to take it. I've been told that you've been to David's estate already.
The police gave me full access to the scene.
Then you know that he wasn't alone last night.
Yes, there was a single witness who met with him and called emergency services when he fainted.
I was that witness.
Dun dun! Really? Obviously. There aren't that many people David would bother meeting with in person, let alone welcoming them into his home and offering them a drink. I also knew that Jung is his superior on paper, though not in fame. And I knew that the witness had Executive Plan 3 insurance, so they had to be higher up than David. Well then, do your lawyers know we're having this conversation?
Of course. They're pulling their hair out about it as we speak.
I can't imagine why. The police cleared you. And you're well within your rights to ask for some privacy, given the high-profile nature of all that's happened. So why call me up here? Why cut through all the red tape your lawyers painstakingly hid you behind?
Eventually, you, or some clever lawyer like you, would get the record opened. Through legal means or otherwise. The company's enemies are legion, and they have a prying knife for every occasion.
Still, that would have taken time. Time you could use to get ahead of what could be the biggest PR hurdle Noble's ever seen.
Touché.
And...
So perhaps the truth of the matter is that I simply didn't want to hide. David was my colleague for several years. If I were in your shoes, I would have questions as well.
First question from Serra. Are you my mom? You're doing this for my sake?
No, my reasons are purely selfish. I'm only hoping that talking to someone whose job isn't to defend me from all my consequences might prove therapeutic.
If she wants to play confessional, that's fine by me. Is that really all that's going on here? Why don't you start from the beginning then? You went to his home last night.
Yes, at around 7:30 p.m. The building's penumbra captured all of that quite clearly.
He fell ill around 8 p.m., so you spent half an hour together. Why the late call in person?
We had had an intense discussion yesterday afternoon. David never came in on Saturdays, and I didn't want to spend the weekend glaring at him through screens. So I visited, and he let me in, and we talked.
About...
The good old days, if you can believe that. Back when we were both new to the company, eager to make a name for ourselves.
How long ago was that?
7 or 8 years ago.
Miss Young?
Putting a number on it, it doesn't sound that long ago, but it feels... We spent a while talking like that. Just talking. He was lively and sharp, and I never would have thought that a few minutes later... that he would be dead. That he would commit suicide in front of me.
A firm reply. What happened?
8:15, he said he wanted to toast. He got up, walked back into his workshop, and then he must have went down into his basement to get us a bottle. I checked some messages in the meantime. Enjoyed the view.
In other words, she stayed on camera.
He came back with a bottle of whiskey and 2 plastic cups. We drank and talked. He got quieter, spoke less. I thought he was just getting drunk. I didn't get worried until he started to fall asleep.
You tried to wake him?
He wasn't responding. I tried to shake him awake, but he didn't seem... I left him and ran to the kitchen to use the security system.
Didn't think to use your phone?
No. I suppose I didn't. But it worked out. The Penumbra's emergency protocol summoned a VTOL straight to his helipad with one button press. When I returned to the parlor, he was limp. I moved him to the floor as delicately as I could. He had a heartbeat, but I just did what I could until they arrived.
You went with him to the hospital, I take it?
Yes, they insisted. They checked my vitals and ran a tox screen, which came back clean.
So did David's, for all the good it did him.
I wasn't paying close attention to what they were saying at that point, but I'm sure they ran through every step of the CCE SOP. That's what they're paid to do.
December 9th, 166, AB positive, VP, likes red meat, flower gardens, high thread counts, dislikes working from home, shopping online, waiting, flute and 3, baseball games, neat, getting children to stop crying. You seem certain that it was suicide.
Yes.
Why?
As I said, he got quieter as the time passed, and he spoke less. But the last thing he said to me, the last clear thing he said, was that he was happy ending it here. Said he was content.
Suspicious.
And he downed his glass after that. He drank every last drop. Does that sound like David Asher to you?
Curious, restless, perfectionist David? No, I guess it doesn't. That's a lot to talk about. When do we get to the actual, when do we get to the actual gameplay of this chapter?
It's a while. Because you're having to gather up all this information before you go to the court to actually present it. Because this will be the first time you're actually going to court in the game.
Uh-huh. As VP of Android Futures, you're David's superior, aren't you?
That's correct.
Didn't you join the company at around the same time?
David was always more interested in his work than he was in climbing the ladder. He didn't like playing the corporate politics game.
So is he unpopular around here?
Not unpopular, no. Not the great Dr. David Asher. Misunderstood, perhaps.
How so?
He could be blunt. Demanding, some might say. He wasn't trying to be, it's just... Not everyone could work at the same pace as he did, for as long as he did.
Even with the whole company huffing those inhalers, they couldn't keep pace with David? Speaking of which, I didn't see it. I don't see it. I don't see any at Young's desk. Maybe it's just not something you leave out in the open at her level. So you'd say that his work life was balanced?
Balance implies the two are at odds with one another. We use work-life harmony here at the company.
Fascinating. So is he in harmony?
No. David always had plenty of suitors, but he was never willing to put the time in. But I'm sure you're more knowledgeable than I am on that subject.
Right.
What do you mean?
I had to help him draft a lot of apology notes over the years for misunderstandings and double bookings.
Scandalous.
I've been curious about this ever since I saw the scene. Why the plastic cups?
There's a story there. David and I got hired around the same time, under similar circumstances. Headhunted while finishing our higher education. During recruiting, the company claimed to want us badly, but in practice, our actual authority was
Inexperienced and overpaid. He must have been extremely unpopular.
You don't mince words. We didn't either, back then. We were loudly trying to convince our superiors that their entire sales model for androids was antiquated and self-defeating.
The two of them made the 1-point doctrine? That's not the story I've heard in Noble commercials and Noble sponsored media. Come to think of it, it's not a story I've heard from David himself.
We had this deadline. Self-imposed, but still a deadline. We wanted to get our pitch to the president of international sales by end of day.
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
around.
rolls around and people start
Oh,
filtering
that's still
out.
her.
David still has his head buried in diagrams and sales figures. Imagine a technical man like him, a programmer, trying to make a sales pitch. The clock hits 9, and even the zombies start heading home. I turn to David. Tell him that it's not going to happen. We're nowhere near finished, and the day's long since been over. He looked at me like I'm the only other person on a sinking boat, and I've just stopped pitching water. And he says,
The president
President lives on the other side of the globe. We've still got all night until his end of day. We wrapped up at 4 in the morning, just us and the cleaning staff. Back then, only half of them were ads. He finally sends the message, and I'm ready to collapse. I've got nothing. We stared blankly at his inbox for the next 40 minutes, hoping that the harsh light would give us the energy to work through the next day. And we got a response.
Ooh.
It wasn't long, but it showed he was interested. I had been turned down so many times before then. Ignored and placated. Passed up and ghosted. But together, David and I, we had finally gotten a win.
So David asks,
If I've got anything to drink.
I've got a bottle of some swill in a cabinet at my desk. But he doesn't want to drink from the bottle. Says he wants the toast. So we sat there at 5:19 in the morning, toasting awful vodka to one another in cups we grabbed from the break room.
Yeah, that's, yeah, they're trained as fuck. David, I mean.
Waist snatched.
Hosting our first victory against the corporate beast. Between the lack of sleep and the drinking, the next day at work was hell.
Sounds like a good memory.
Plastic cups and liquor. That was our little ritual. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm. So I didn't think twice when he presented me with my cup. It was ceremony for us. You said CCE standard operating procedure a moment ago. What is that? Mystique! Hey, it's been a while. How you doing? CCE stands for Counter Corporate Espionage, which is just industry doublespeak for corporate espionage. Only used in self-defense, you understand. You alright? That's good. Your dog sitting? I hope it's a nice dog. I know not many people have fun with that, especially when they're busy. Or if the dog's got different energy levels than you. Aww. So Noble anticipates employees at your level getting poisoned? They give us all kinds of CCE training. Subtly, of course. Usually disguised on the itinerary as leadership workshops or psychiatric evaluations. They train you to expect to get murdered at these leadership workshops? Murder is fairly rare at our level. More likely they'll want us too sick to work. Let us strain company resources in a hospital bed while our position sits vacant. That's smart. Like snipers purposely avoiding vital areas to strain the enemy's medical resources. That's terrible! Like snipers purposely avoiding vital areas in order to strain the enemy's medical resources. $100, nice. That's nothing compared to what they want to turn an asset. Feel ill for the rest of your life with an undiagnosable malady, or become our mole and we'll send you the antidote every 2 weeks. That's a nasty piece of work. It's a nasty line of work. Consulting. I'm sorry? That's just what they call it. Can't exactly put corporate spy on your CV. So every consultant I've met at a cocktail party was actually... It depends. Did they say they're consultants? Or did they say they were in consulting? How the hell am I supposed to remember? So do your people think that what happened to David was a deliberate attack? Noble's competitors have been trying to get David for years, and that's the timescale their plans operate on. If this was an attack from a rival corporation, the company would have seen it coming, and they'd probably have struck first. The A16 only entered production this year, correct? Correct. Pre-orders started last holiday, and we began shipping in the first quarter. I understand that you're instrumental in the success of Warm Androids. I played my part supervising the launch, yes. Weren't you the one who designed Synatonin, the factor that enabled communication between synthetic and organic parts? I'm surprised you've heard of that. I did lead that project, yes, but that was years ago. At the time, Synatonin was little more than a novelty, a dead end. It wasn't until David took the reins on the A16 that we found a use for it. Took the reins? He was a lead programmer on limb coordination, facial expression, exhaustion parameters, and he designed the synthetic nerves that made all of that possible. David did all of that? That's a lot more than just programming. Was he always so gifted in that many fields? Did he fill those roles on the A14 or A15? No. He used to stick steadfast to his role as software architect. That was his field of expertise, and he didn't wander far. But 2 or 3 years back, he started sitting in on other departments, taking notes. Soon, he was joining the discussion, proposing new ideas. And eventually, they came to follow his lead. Just like that? Just like that. So he just applied himself, and soon he was leading other departments? That's the kind of genius that Dr. David Asher was. Maybe they weren't paying him enough. The company profited the most, of course, but the entire industry benefited from his vision and leadership. His loss will be felt for years.
I'm back. Sorry about that. My dad came by because I'm taking a trip next week, so he wanted to chat with me for a bit.
You're fine.
Okay, ready.
You know what? Everybody stretch. Don't shrimp. Be healthy.
You may not enjoy the $6 shrimp special.
I'm not a big fan of shrimp, anyway.
I just, whenever someone talks about shrimping in your chair, I just think of
Shrimp heaven now! Shrimp heaven now!
So the voice actor Gianni Matragrano, who is the voice of Gabriel from Ultrakill and other things, he has a video where he voices I'll send it to you.
Voices,
it's very short.
Likes the voice
He voices an advertisement. He voices an advertisement with oh yeah, and he does all the Duke Nukem shit posts too.
Mm-hmm.
He's also in a very popular Roblox horror mod or something.
Jesus answered, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. $6 shrimp special!
Yeah.
Amazing. So this android, Serra. Even Dawes couldn't find any real details on where it came from.
It's not in any of our systems.
I'm afraid not. Did David ever talk to you or anyone else at the company about a pet project?
No, he never gave me indication like that. And if he didn't talk to me about it, I seriously doubt he confided in anyone else at the company. David didn't trust anyone higher on the chain than himself, and anyone below him. Frankly, they couldn't possibly hope to give him advice. He never mentioned me.
So she's not her mom. Dang.
No, never.
Androids don't come cheap. You never heard about him requisitioning parts or resources? There were never any discrepancies with his company credit card.
The company's accountants are mirthless, even by industry standards. They wouldn't humor anybody. Not even David Asher. If they had ever detected financial discrepancies, there would have been an uproar loud enough you could hear it in the mailroom. You have a mail room?
What is she hoping to see, like a room full of sacks of letters in pneumatic tubes? Like in the movies?
She's gonna go Pepe Sylvia in there. Not since the 30s. Just a figure of speech.
She looks so sad.
He couldn't have taken resources from the company without leaving a record. But no one would deny Dr. David Asher information. He would have been able to obtain all the necessary data to build his own android. Then, with enough time and money, could privately purchase the raw materials himself.
I don't understand it. It must have taken him years to build Serra. He wasn't doing anything illegal. Except the hacking stuff. So why keep it secret?
I don't know. But he was private. And a perfectionist. Perhaps he simply wasn't proud of his results.
Could be. Well, thanks for taking the time. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me. I'm sure this has been a difficult day for you.
A difficult day for all of us.
A message from Fran? Running out of leads, Chase. The brat better have good news.
Are you really going to take this to court?
Everyone from public life to persons carrying in to help high-value members of corporate body minimize risk themselves in a company frequently involves the use of double talk and coded language, including hiding the training as leadership workshops or psychiatric evaluations. Individuals at or above David and Helen receive training in it multiple times a year. That's my plan. Circumstances may be irregular, but I'm still defending a client from a criminal charge. It's my responsibility to argue that he's not guilty of what he's been accused of.
And that is what you believe? That he didn't commit suicide?
I guess I haven't decided what I believe. A good defense attorney always believes in their client. Would you kindly slow the hell down?
I'm sorry, Adonai. Was I walking too quickly for you?
That wasn't walking. That was speed walking. Up 2 flights of stairs. It's very different.
Speed walking?
Oh no.
Sounds like a powerful technique. Is it like the Zhenjiao?
What is that? What is Zhenjiao?
One second. It is a I know it's like a technique in boxing, but that's about all I know. I think it's something to do with like how the footwork in boxing.
Huh. Just let me catch my breath for a minute.
Adonai, is it possible that you are out of shape?
Maybe under that corset she's hiding a pot belly. Or a paunch. No.
But since we left the cab, your heart rate has...
I'm not wearing the right clothes. Or the right shoes.
Is that so?
Yes. Also, I didn't stretch or hydrate, and the sun's reaching its zenith.
That would have been several hours ago. Do you mean the air temp?
You said it'd be a short walk from street level, so I prepared myself mentally for a short walk. Then you took off like a rocket, and you didn't mention we'd have to go upstairs. Are you sure this place is even back here?
The reviews online were quite clear. It's worth the trouble finding it.
Maybe if you're a mountain climber. When I sent Fran hunting for a musician in David's circles, I was expecting him to bring me someone from the city orchestra or a jazz club. Champagne flute and teacup kind of musician. This is the tequila and neon part of town.
It should be in view if we turn. Adonai, be careful.
Of what?
It's a stray. And it's bearing its fangs, too. It could be carrying diseases. You should.
Relax.
Adonai, it's growling.
It's not growling at me. See?
So, it's just me that it doesn't like.
Too much static.
How'd you get it to calm down?
It's an animal, not a monster. It wants to be calm.
Do you like animals?
What kind of cold-blooded freak doesn't like animals?
Do you have a pet?
Yeah, you. No, never have.
Why not?
Because I don't want to take care of a pet.
That seems counterintuitive to me.
Well, it makes perfect sense to me, and I don't need it to make sense to you.
But
You notice you're only this talkative when it's just the two of us? Just an observation. You shy or something? Did David program you to have android anxiety?
it's generally only appropriate to respond to comments that are addressed to oneself. Today I have rarely been addressed directly by people, other than you.
In other words, you're shy.
That is not what I... Bleh. Can I try petting it?
There's no law against it. And then she loses her hand. 426. Ultraviolets.
This is the establishment.
It sure is, and I think I want to call it here.
Okay.
I get there's a lot of investigation, but like I feel like not even
Chapter 1 is way longer than Chapter 0.
Yeah, because I guess like Chapter 0 is just a demo or a sneak preview. I figured, this chapter will just be like 2 parts. I was wrong. But also I'm hungry, and I need to check on the dog.
Okay.
He's been sick today.
No.
Yeah. Where do I... There.
Alright.
Yeah. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe next time we'll see some courtroom action.
Maybe. I think we're nearing the end of the investigation at this point, because I think this is either the last or second to last stop.
Yeah. In the meantime, I want to thank you again for joining me on
You're welcome.
on such short notice. And I'd like to thank everyone who dropped by the stream, gave a follow, stuff like that. You can check my link below, find where I'm at. I'm on Blue Sky, my VODs channel, where this will go up tomorrow. Maybe subscribe. It'll help out. And there's also public Discord. If you join, follow the rules, give your introduction, all that jazz. Or else you will get kicked out in 2 days. Them's the rules. And Braybray doesn't stream, but he shows up on Fina's channel once in a while.
Yes, and she will be streaming tonight at 8:30 p.m. Pacific time.
Nice. They're still trying to beat off on stream.
I think she was doing that last night. I don't know what she plans on doing tonight, though. I was very proud of her, because apparently she's never gotten past this point in off before, so now she has. But she hasn't finished it yet.
I mean, speaking of edging earlier on stream, I guess Lemma finished its stream before I did. That's fine. There's another robot I can raid though. My buddy Jude. And the raid message, again, will be an idle mind. So, I'll see all of you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.